we are back. Guys, I know I'm late and I have an explanation for it. That explanation is The Acolyte is a terrible, terrible TV show. I I know longtime viewers, you know I have that rule about no Star Wars on this channel because Star Wars is just a rotting corpse at this point, but I just got done writing a article about The Acolyte for Bounding into Comics, and it's just painful, guys. We're not having fun here. I'm glad I can take this hit so you don't have to. I know a couple of you in the chat who show up regularly here on the show. Some of you are watching it for your streams, for your sites. My heart goes out to you, solidarity. But man, just there have been clips going around in the aftermath of just all the Acolyte stuff of like the Clone Wars cartoon, the old Gennady cartoon, and it is just like it is night and day how much like the quality difference between that series and what we're looking at now. What we're looking at now is essentially a glorified fan fiction. We have gotten to the point where I don't know how many of you of my old heads are out there, right? Like I'm in my early to late 30s now, 34, whatever you want to call that. But I remember back in the day, you know, the internet was made up of all the fan fiction weirdos, and that's where you would get all your weird shipping stuff and your weird like alternate universes and your coffee shops. And now those people have gotten jobs in media, and that's where we're at now. Now everything is just what was that really dumb fan fiction website like Menage. It was like I don't know, there was like an adult one. It was like its name was based off a threesome. It was funny, it was bad, but anyway, yes guys, Friday night, welcome back to another episode of The Good, the Mav, the Ugly. I am of course your host Mav with the itchy ear over there. Yeah, if you guys it is Friday night. That itch kind of threw off my little groove there. But yes, Friday night, another episode. I am so happy to be hanging out with you guys again. This week, we're going to be doing, it's going to be a slight break from what we normally do because if you've been around, you know, I focus a lot on Spider-Man, on Marvel, because that is in terms of comic books, aside from the occasional thing out of IDW and Image, which are like small one-off series, the only thing I'm really reading are stuff from Marvel, right? Because DC, ever since they did the everything is canon stuff back in Dark Knight's Metal, there's just been no interest for me for DC stuff. But they started a new event called Absolute Power, so we will talk about that. That's genuinely the biggest sort of I feel like I had another topic of discussion DC related to talk about. Who knows? But yeah, it's a general DC discussion day. Maybe we'll talk about some of the James Gunn stuff. Maybe we'll talk about who knows. Anyway, that is the main topic for today. Is I want to talk about Absolute Power, what we're looking at, what I think is in the future. Spoiler alert, not a lot of high hopes for what's coming down the pipe, but we will obviously get into that. First I'm going to say hello to the chat. First up, it is Tehillim saying shalom and good to see you. Tehillim, buddy, shalom and good to see you. I meant to retweet this the other day, but you replied to. So I recently hit 100 subs on this channel just from doing the live stream, just from hanging out. So that's really cool. Thank you everybody for helping me out with that. But Tehillim, you replied and you were like, "Hey, congrats, man." And I wanted to tell you, like, Tehillim, you don't need to congratulate me. It's all like, I wouldn't have this show if it wasn't for you. You were one of the earliest people hanging out all the time. So no, all the love to Tehillim. I'm glad you're hanging out with us today, buddy. We also have Corey, who, yes, he caught me. He was here early. I had to wrap up that awful Bounding article. And yes, exactly. It was The Acolyte. So not only was I late, but I was late and gay. Like I was just the whole trifecta. So I take that L on me. But Corey, it is always a pleasure to see you, mi amigo. Shinkai says, the Gennady Star Wars is not only my favorite Star Wars, but only Star Wars I like, or only so far. And you know what? First of all, Shinkai, my man, how's it going, buddy? Second, I do not really blame you for that. It is a different sort of take on Star Wars. It is very much... It is... Whoa. I just hit puberty there halfway through that sentence. It is... And I say this, Shinkai, because I know you are a giant anime fan like I am. It is very... It is close to an anime style production. Just the fight choreography, the pacing, the... what is the right term? Like the willingness to play with your... like cartoon setting almost, right? Like they can do some feats that are a little more ridiculous but believable in animation than you can in live action. So it just works out a whole lot better. And yeah, like I don't blame anybody for not liking Star Wars or having their own Star Wars preference. The only genuinely bad Star Wars opinion is like post Disney Star Wars is the best Star Wars, or any combination of like The Last Jedi was a masterpiece or The Rise of Skywalker was great. Like anything like that, bad opinion. But if you don't like something, if you do like something, that's all good. You can like I encourage everybody to have their different opinions. But I think it is cool that there is something out there that appeals to you as somebody who isn't a Star Wars fan. But like here's the thing, Shinkai, that's like such a good example of sort of the thing we always look at. That said, you know, Gennady and Lucasfilm, they went, we are going to make a Star Wars series. It's going to be Star Wars. Make it. They didn't go, oh, we need to bring in anime fans. We need to bring in people who don't like Star Wars. They just said, we're going to make a good Star Wars product. And look what happened. You like it, and you're not even a Star Wars fan. And I know you're not alone. And it happens all the time with just any sort of big media franchise. So, yeah, that's a really good example. I kind of love that you brought that up. But, yeah, no, Gennady Clone Wars is fantastic. I encourage everybody to go watch it if you have not. It might make you sad because it will remind you of what good Star Wars used to be. Let me check something really quick. I got a dumb pop-up over here on my YouTube studio and I have no idea what's going on. Oh, my girl, shout out Cult Classic Cage. She is live right now doing her stuff, playing her video games. I am jealous. Someday it would be nice, like, and this is hold on, that sounded so hyper passive aggressive. Like, I think it would be cool someday to get to the point where like I could play video games and stuff on stream and make a sizable okay living out of it. Not like, gangbusters. I don't want to be I don't even know who big streamers are. I don't follow any of them. Tim the Tatman, I guess, like not like that, but just, enough to hang out. That would be cool. And that's why like it sounded so passive aggressive that I was saying that towards Cassie, but no, like I'm stoked for Cassie. Like she definitely deserves it. I am so happy for her. I just I gotta get there, man. We'll get there. Don't worry. I have absolutely no qualms about that because the show is fun. You guys are the best viewers possible, and the rest is history. Whoops. You're probably gonna hear a double there for a second. Yeah. So before we get into the main event, as always, let's talk about just a few random topics that I have had on my mind this past couple weeks, or the past couple weeks, this week, since it's only been a week since I've seen you guys. First cool thing, as always here on the show, for all the trash talking we like to do, for all of the groaning we like to do, I always like to highlight stuff that we are buying, that we are reading, that we're hanging out with, that we are loving. So first thing I wanted to show is I got a mail call yesterday, which is really cool. But back to my point about how the only thing I'm really reading right now is Marvel. My entire, like, hey kid, you want to buy some Ultimate comics? Like, if you are not reading the Ultimate Comics line right now, it is hands down some of the best comics you will read in a long, long while. I've said it before, Ultimate Black Panther is fine. If you've seen the MCU movies, you kind of already know what's going on there. But Spider-Man, the Ultimates, X-Men, fantastic. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I've been gushing over this for a while because I've been collecting the set. But I got the two more. Chichetto did two more spider suit variants for Ultimate Spider-Man. Got the oh man, I forget it's mirrored. So we got Superior, and then Ben's hoodied costume, and these are two of my favorite costumes. So I'm super stoked on these. I'm loving this set. In case you guys forgot, I have the original 4 that they printed for the first print of Ultimate Spider-Man 1. So that's just a really cool, neat little thing. And in case you guys check this out, are you guys seeing this? The weird like warping on my baggies. So what's up with that is, do not leave and this isn't something I did, but like, when you get mail deliveries and you live in somewhere hot, like you live in the desert, you live in Arizona, you live in Utah, you live wherever, go get your stuff immediately. I left my books in, I didn't leave them. I was out of the house when they got delivered yesterday. So they were in the mailbox for about 3 hours, just cooking. So thankfully the books are all okay. Like there's no damage to the actual covers, but yeah, the bags are all warped. And shout out to Andrew. I know my boy Andrew. He is currently at Denver Fan Expo representing the Rippaverse, having all that fun out there. I know there's probably more than a few of my viewers who are out there right now at that show, so I hope everybody out there is having fun there. But if you watch this, Andrew, in the repeat, or if you don't, or if somebody clips this for you, I finally got Iban! Yes, Iban Cabello. He is a Marvel artist. For those who don't know, Iban Cabello or Cabello. Cabello, I think is what it is. But he is a Marvel artist. He is fucking tastic. Like this man rules. If you are in Andrew's Caffeinated Wolf server, you know that he and I have been sharing art of Iban's back and forth for months now. So this is just he did a variant foil cover for the Ultimates relaunch. And you guys know me, I love the Ultimates. I love foil covers. I love Iban Cabello. So of course that's what I was going to grab. For those curious, those are kind of the best things that are in that mail pool. The rest are just, catching up on my Ultimate Spider-Man issues, my Ultimate X-Men issues, and yeah, then the others in that big stack that I was flashing in front of the camera. That is just my whatchamacallit, my variants for Ultimates #1, because you gotta get. This is I posed this question to my fellow comic collectors the other day, and if you're in the chat, if you're in the VOD, let me know what your opinion is. But no matter if I buy a comic and I buy a variant cover, I have to buy like the standard cover. There's no way, like it feels wrong if my collection doesn't have the standard cover. And it's really weird. Like I'll go on eBay or something, right? And I'll want to buy a run, and here are all the issues for this run, but 3 or 4 issues are variant covers, and it's like that makes me like that doesn't sit right with me. It's such a weird little thing. But that is why I have the standard cover, the Iban cover, and then because it was thematic and because it is the Ultimates, I had to get the Brian Hitch relaunch cover because he was the artist for the original Ultimates back in the day. So cool little mail call. I like looking at my comics. Someday I hope, once I am in like a big space, I can have this really cool way to display them all and everything. But until such time, you all get to be bored by me just talking noise about that. Or not talking noise, but bringing it up on stream and boring you all to death with my variant covers. Corey says, I won't be here for the stream next Friday. I'm going to be in Knoxville for a meetup, and I'm meeting Gina Carano on Saturday at Fanboy Expo. That is freaking cool. Like, I am definitely jealous. What's the Knoxville meetup? Is that like a is it a Rippaverse one? Is it a Geeks and Gamers? I just have no idea. None of these events ever really happen out in my area, so there's never been really a reason for me to keep appraised of them. Yeah, so no, I don't even trip, man. The fact that you're here, I genuinely hope you have fun. That sounds like a blast. I'm like, that reminds me, this weekend is Anime Expo. Anime Expo is happening right now. I am jealous. Okay. I am so torn over Anime Expo nowadays, right? Because I am an adult now who can afford to buy tickets, who can afford to do good cosplay, who can afford all the merch that's on the floor, who doesn't have to worry about packing lunches early because he can't afford anything. Like, I'm all cool and set there, but like the idea of going out in the heat and packing myself in with all like a bazillion people to stand in line for hours to wait to buy something that I could probably buy on like Big Bad Toy Store is just sort of exhausting. But it's so conflicting because there's that part of me that's like, I want to go be social with a bunch of weebs like me, but then the other part of me is like, dude, I don't want to go socialize with like a bunch of weebs like me. It has been years now since I went to Anime Expo. I think the last time I went was 2012, so at least a decade now. I cosplayed as Ace from One Piece with a group of friends. We were Luffy, Sabo, Ace. It was a really fun time. Highly recommend it if you're into that scene, but if you're not, don't even like it. It is a nightmare. Just trust me on that one. Let's see. Corey says Drunk 3PO is hosting it, and Force of Light Entertainment and Valiant are going to be there. It's not a big meetup, just meeting at a pizza place to hang out. Hey, that's still really cool. I even think the littler hangouts are kind of cooler than the bigger ones, because that's how you foster a sense of community. That's where you can actually talk to people, right? Like if you were doing a big Vegas meetup or something, you know, Valiant's going to be flooded by like, oh, come take pictures. Oh, hey, it's you. Oh, hey, we're live streaming. Come like pop in and say hi or something. Like that always happens. It happens with anybody in those spheres, like Culture Casino. It happens to Ian Comics Division. Like that happens to all those guys. So a smaller venue is way cooler for just like hanging out, talking, like getting to know them. Space Dave 2000, what's going on, Space Dave? For guys, I love this dude. If you guys don't know him, he is a very frequent well, you know, I'm trying to set this up right, Space Dave, don't worry, so just hear me out here. He is a very frequent watcher, contributor, participant, community member over at That Park Place. You probably have seen him around on other shows. That's where I normally hang out with him. But more to the point, Space Dave is one of the my fellow 6 or 7, I forget how many of us there are, Dave, the 6 or 7 of us who are on the ground launch team for That Game Place. Yeah, this will be a quick midstream bump. I'll obviously talk about it when we're closing out. But if you guys have read That Park Place, or you know That Park Place, mostly the YouTube channel, run by Jonas J. Campbell, Culture Casino, Vash Scott, like all those guys, they're great. Lou Wasserman's Ghost, he is hilarious. He is the man. All those guys over there, they do great work on theme parks and entertainment, but now we have launched a separate endeavor, which is video game focused. So that's where you'll be getting your news, your updates, your big live streams like that. It's been launching off really well so far. We already hit 1,000 subscribers. Unfortunately, I had some things to take care of this week that sort of took me away from being able to record any videos or live streams for this week. But next week, I will personally be back in action. I would highly recommend you guys go watch the 1K streamer pain in the rear. No, Space Dave. You're not as bad as what's his name? You know who I'm talking about? The guy who always pops in to try and get Jonas to say vulgar things when Jonas won't. Yeah. But That Game Place, it's a lot of fun. Go check out the 1,000 subscriber stream that was hosted by Nolan, Space Dave, and Culture Casino. It was fantastic. We're really hoping to kick that off, really hoping to gear that off. We're giving you we're tired of all the really bad video game journalism out there. We're going to give you an alternative to it. Let's get to it. That Game Place on Twitter, on YouTube. I don't think we have an official website yet, but we're working on it. Check it out. You'll see more of my beautiful mug over there. And I, of course, will keep you updated. So, let's see. Yeah, Space Dave, pain in the rear, far from it. Let's see. Corey says, meetups are cool. Can't talk to the streamers much, but talking to the other chat members is fucking awesome. Maybe one day we can get you to one, Spence. I have in recent, what am I trying to say here? I'm clearly tripping over my thoughts. I have wanted to go to a meetup for a while now. There was one in Vegas a few years ago I almost went to because Jacob went to it, of Society Reviews, but things just didn't work out. If they start having them closer, like in Arizona or back in Vegas, I might show up to one of those. One's more out on the East Coast or in the South or something, I might have to wait for an event of some sort to cover. The good news is, like, if there is an event that you guys are having a meetup at, like a Denver Fan Expo, I can probably get tickets really easily for press, which is something I should be doing anyway. But I really want to meet up with you guys. I really want to hang out with you guys. Hanging out in person is just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get some drinks. First round's on me. Hold me to it. Tahillim says, a little bit pissed off this week. Got a copyright strike on my channel from Japan for one of my videos trying to promote a series from Japan I enjoyed. So, dude, Tahillim, I am not surprised. Like, first, all right, hold on. Let me rephrase that. One, and let me get some water because it is hot as balls in here. As I'm sure you can all notice from the occasional pit stain that rises up from behind my setup here. But when it comes, so first off, that sucks ass. Like, do not get me wrong. I hate the fact that you got copyright struck. I know it was probably an automatic thing by whichever company who owns the series you were doing, whether it was Kodansha, Toei, so on and so forth, right? Japan is really, really, really strict about this stuff, just in a general sense. Like, if you play something from a Japanese production, like a television or a movie production, there is a 99% chance, no matter how long the clip is, that you are going to get busted for it. Let's see. For example, There was a stream we did a little while ago. I want to say, I don't remember which episode it was. A Good, the Mad, the Ugly. And I played like, it must have been the Christmas episode or something, because I played like a 10-second clip of Kamen Rider. Or not even 10 seconds, like a 5-second clip of Kamen Rider. That got me completely struck, like right out of the gate, to the point where I had to file like the review where you have to submit like your real name and stuff. And I was just like, damn, like, all right. The good, or I wouldn't say good news, but there is a thing here to Hillam where they are like, you can let them block it in Japan and it can still be okay to play over here, or not over here because we're in different countries, but like outside of Japan. So the good news is you can still leave that up, I think. Once that copy, like, you have to resolve, or you have to dispute the copyright, and then they'll say like, well, we can take the video down from that region and leave it up everywhere else while we review it. And then you go, yeah, freaking do it. And it doesn't really change anything, and at least your video is up there. I don't know how that really affects monetization, because this channel, again, I am 1/10 of the way there. We hit 100 this week. Here's to 1,000. So, yeah, I don't know how that affects monetization. I don't know if your channel is monetized, but it is a dangerous game to play. Sort of the only advice I can really give is that if you're going to cover anime, you're going to cover toku, any of that stuff, it is best to either set up like a Patreon or a not a GoFundMe, but like a Ko-Fi or something where people can donate to you for those videos, or just know that you're not going to get it played in Japan. I know, for example, Nerdigans, great girl. She's our anime reporter over at Bounding in Comics, personal friend. She's great. She is currently reviewing Suicide Squad Isekai out of Warner Brothers Japan. And she had to launch that as a Patreon exclusive series, because when she was covering the trailer, they were nuking all her videos, her shorts, her links, like everything was dying when she did that. So, yeah, that's all I can really say about anime. There's not some special way to get around it. Even if you color correct it or change the audio, they will find you. Oh, yeah, remember the other week, that was another one I had, not just the Kamen Rider one, but remember the other week I showed the clip, the last call for last minute news a couple of weeks ago was the Gintama clip where he was making fun of Final Fantasy VII and he was making fun of Berserk. That clip got my channel struck too, even though that was maybe like 20 seconds worth of anime footage. So it's hard out there for a weeb. Let's just put it that way, right? Space Dave says your RPG knowledge is impeccable, and sub my dude. First of all, thank you for the sub, Space Dave. You're the best. And yeah, that is so the team over at that game place is, we obviously all have our specialties, and per Jonas, like, if we ever got like a formal directory or whatever, I would be the resident sort of weeb RPG, Asian expert for as awful as those optics are. But that is because, yeah, that's what I grew up playing all that stuff. I very much had that childhood where I was inside a lot. I was the fat kid. My parents weren't always around. I played a lot of video games. So I sort of really, really got lost in those worlds. So that's where all of that knowledge comes from, and just sort of my overall just general love of genre fiction and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm super stoked to be talking about all that stuff with you guys. I was so sad that I missed the Wednesday live stream. I had something I had to take care of. Real life sometimes, you know how it goes, but I'm looking forward to more of it. And yeah, Space Dave is the man. I don't know if you have your own channel, Space Dave, but if he does, go find it. Type in Space Dave 2000 into your search channel right now. Click his name over in the chat. I guess the chat's over here and it's also over here, but click it, hit him up. He's the man. Let's see. Corey says, Nerdrotic gonna have one in Vegas every year, and I'm thinking of going out to that one next year. I'm going to Dallas Fan Expo again next year. Know some friends that go every year. Yeah, I was actually thinking of maybe going to Dallas Fan next year, because I know Andrew lives out there now, and I know a couple of you guys are all in that sort of local area. So who knows? The future is our oyster. The future is open to us. But that is definitely something that is on my calendar to take care of. All right. Do you guys remember? So, fun little moment for this stream. You guys know I love alternate costumes, right? And I think you might remember that over the last few weeks, I have been streaming in a certain type of attire, a tank top. Well, that is because it is hot as hell in Arizona, like I said at the beginning, with the comic book sleeves. So, all that said, I'm realizing that I am at the point where I cannot wear this shirt anymore to stream. So unless you guys want an Acolyte level show where I'm just like shirtless the entire time, I need 1 second to get up from this chair and go put on a regular tank top. Do not worry, this will not take more than a second. I just literally need to stand up and go over here. So, da, 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 da. Oh yeah. See? Not even far. I can shout across the room. Woo! Okay. Woo! That was... Now this feels better. And that's right. I have this really gaudy Hunter x Hunter tank top that I bought for like $5 because it was on mad sale because nobody wanted it for good reason. But man, is it comfy. Anyway, we are back. So let's see. Where were we? Shinkai says, Bleach chapter review was a few years back. Oh, is that something you got struck by or struck for, Shinkai? Yeah, like yeah. Like that's what I mean. Like even just putting a manga page up will get you completely blasted. Like Tehillim says right here, YouTube really needs to protect smaller channels and set restrictions from this stuff for those wanting to strike smaller channels. The entire YouTube ecosystem is like super messed up at this point. I think we all know that. It's sort of been messed up. It's kind of always been messed up and slanted, but I think it really got bad in 2020 or 2019 with the crackdown on Koof disinformation, right? So once that algo change hit and it's a mess now. But that's like the algorithm, but then there's like the operations. It's all kind of just awful over there. My point to that is, yes, everything, we do need protections like that. We do need help with, promote smaller channels, give smaller channels, more of a leeway on these kinds of things. But the sad truth of it is it's possible to get that stuff, but it's going to take a while for us to, get people at YouTube to listen, to get them to implement it in a way that works for everybody. So again, this is why we need to invest in other platforms like Rumble, Rumble. I only bring up Rumble as the main example because it's kind of the only one that's thriving. Like Odyssey's kind of gone. Kick, does that even, or Hinge? No, Hinge is the dating app. Kick, was that the video game one? I know Cassie was on it for a little bit, but yeah. So it's one of those, like, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. I don't think it's not a good thing. It's not great, but it's just one of those, we have to play with the hand we were dealt. Reeve, what is up, Reeve? Reeve says he just got here and see that you just returned. To be fair, I literally just went like three steps over there. Yeah, Tehillim, that's what I was saying. It is Kahlua. It is the main hunter, or the main hunter quad Rio, whatever you want to call him. Very comfy, very stylish, very nerdy. I love it. Like, I wouldn't really want to be caught dead outside wearing this, but I'll wear it with you guys. No, I'm kidding. I do wear this out regularly. I've gotten to the point in my life where it's like, I like what I like. I know who I am. Whatever, dude. As long as I'm not doing the Zelda, the Triforce shirt cargo shorts, because I just don't have the power level to pull that off. I am not that fashionable. I don't look that good. Yeah, I'm good with wearing everything. Let's see. Corey says, I'm going to go to Arizona and wear blue jeans and a t-shirt and be fine, just to show Mav up. Look, that's normally what I wear during a day, or shirt, like a shirt and t-shirt. And if we were outside, it'd be a little better. But because I'm in this hot box of my bedroom with I can't have the fan on, otherwise it's going to make, or like I can't blow pure air conditioning on, otherwise it's going to hit the mic, and I'm moving around and I'm animated. So it's a little hot here, so I'm trying. But I am also I am very temperature sensitive. I'm a big baby when it comes to that. Not even going to deny that. Let's see. Oh, hey, Rhaegar Targaryen, what is up? Rhaegar from a regular viewer over on the 01 stream. How is it going? Nice to see you. Rhaegar, is your avatar Smilo Ren's helmet? I genuinely think your avatar is Smilo Ren's helmet, and I know, I'm laughing because I know you wouldn't put that on, unironically, and somebody's got to have fun with that awful design, right? Reeve says, did you see the Deadpool panel I posted in Andrew's server? Anything to comment about it? I did not. Let's see what we are talking about. We'll pull it up. Let's even pull it up on here. Let me make sure that is the window we are going to pull up if I switch things. Do, 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 do. Cool. It is. Do all this stuff, get it all squared away. Cool. All right. Let's check this out. Going into this blind, I am reading it with all of you, so you get to see how my brain works when I normally just talk to people shooting the shit in Andrew's server. All right, let's see. Here is a panel. Let's see. This was sent to me, as you guys just heard, from Reeve. From Stealth 40K, the newest issue of Deadpool released yesterday specifically mentions Marvel vs. Capcom 4. With the announcement of MVC Fighting Collection and Marvel talking about how happy they are with the reception to that announcement, who knows? Maybe it's possible now. So let's see. Deadpool, he's fighting, shooting. Deadpool and Taskmaster, best friends forever. They should put that move in Marvel vs. Capcom 4. So, yeah, I don't. So here's my take on it. I unfortunately don't think this is a hint of anything to come. Like, I definitely think this is a very cheeky joke from Deadpool, possibly made with the knowledge that collection was coming out. Because remember, it's not like this comic was written, drawn, inked, printed, and published and shipped out in the week it's been since the collection was announced. But being at Marvel offices, I'm sure people heard something. So to me right now, this just feels like it's a good joke, either one that was really like perfectly timed or like planned ahead of time. It's good. It's a funny joke. However, I do think right now, more than ever, we are looking at another chance for a Marvel vs. Capcom game, because I don't know how many of you guys here are longtime MVC fans or you followed the series from the very beginning. If you were here last week, you would have heard last week the main theme of the show was the MVC collection. I gushed about it, and if you were there, you'd have heard this has been my series since I was like this has defined my MVC defines my style, my gameplay love, my art style love, just everything about that game. If you distilled my personality into a video game, it would be the MVC series. And so I've followed this for a while, and here's a quick break. I'm going to give a quick breakdown of history, and that'll lead to my point. I just want you to know that I'm not getting off point. So for a long time, Marvel, ever since 1993, Marvel signed a deal with Capcom to make a bunch of video games. The first one of those being the Punisher beat-em-up game, which is why that is included in the Fighting Collection, even though it's not a fighting game, simply because it was the first collaboration they did. From there, they started releasing annual to semi-annual entries in the fighting series, starting with, Marvel versus or Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, so on and so forth. When they got to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the license was expiring on that game. Or not on that game, on their deal. And this was during the rough era of Marvel, where right before they were sold off to Disney. So business wasn't exactly, booming there. They didn't have the best people upcharge at the they didn't have the best people at the wheel up at the top. So it was really rough for Marvel. So during that period, somebody at Marvel decided, we're not going to renew our license with Capcom. We're good. So that's why Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the reason it is such a batshit wacky game that is undeniably broken, is, the reason it feels like all those characters were just kind of thrown in from other games without any real balance put into it is because that's kind of how it happened. Capcom went, well, we're losing the license. What do? Well, might as well go out with a big ass shebang. And that's how we got MVC2 with its giant roster, right? Of 64 or whatever characters. After that, everything sort of died down. I got to check. Let me check one date real quick, because that's going to inform what I'm doing. Or man. Okay, that's right. Okay, so from there, it kind of died. It was gone for a very, very, very long time. By a sheer miracle, in about 2009, 2010, so this is about 8 to 10 years after MVC2, after that all went away, we got the surprise collaboration of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which, again, one of the best fighting games ever made. You could tell everybody there was working, like they had passion for the characters, for the mechanics, for everything. So we got MVC3, then we got UMVC3, right? Just the upgrade with extra characters. From there, the license expired again. It went away. We had nothing, like it was done. So we went into limbo for a little bit. A year after Marvel vs. Capcom, or Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, we got this really stupid collection called the Marvel vs. Capcom Origins Collection. It's not stupid. It is just MVC 1 and 2 for like the PSN and the Xbox Live Arcade. But this is just like an aside. They did this really awful thing where like they gave it new artwork, and the artwork is by a Western artist, and it's just like really, really terrible. And I'm trying to find it right now because like you guys need to see just sort of how bad it was. Man, where is this key art? Why does nobody want to just show me the key art that I'm looking for? Well, this is at least sort of going to... So this isn't the exact key art I was thinking of. Maybe if I do this. Will this give me the really bad image I'm looking for? No, I guess they scrubbed this one image from the face of the earth, and I really kind of don't blame them. It's so awful. Oh no, here we go. That's what it is. That's what it is. Oh yeah. Yeesh. Yeah. Okay. So Capcom did this. They were doing this thing back in the day, and some companies still do it. Some companies have gotten over it, but they were hiring like Western artists to provide the art for their Japanese games, and it wasn't even like really good artists. Like it wasn't your Peach Momokos or your Pepe Larraz or your Ibans, right? It was people. And it was this just feels awful. It feels lazy. Like, what is that Iron Man? That's not dynamic. He's literally just standing there with a beam going. What's Chun-Li doing? She's not even on the same plane as Iron Man to be fighting her. Mega Man looks really awful. He looks like a doodle. That looks like you told somebody in 1999, draw an anime character. No idea what the hell's happening with Venom over here. Hulk is looking a little sullen over there. Gambit is just standing on a cliff randomly, about to take on Captain Commando. Everybody just, it doesn't feel good. Like this isn't dynamic. Ryu almost feels like a racist caricature. Like this is really, really bad, right? And so like this is one artwork they did, and then the one I was looking for, which is really bad, was this one they did for the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 PSN Xbox Arcade re-release, where there's clearly this person's clearly talented. They have painting skills. They know what they're doing, but this is not a good fit for Marvel. It doesn't communicate the energy, the flow, the style. It's just very bad and generic. And then like you get into it and Wolverine looks fine. Sure. Ryu looks okay. But then it's like, what the hell's happening here with Mega Man? What even is that? Like this was just a really shitty time period to be a Marvel versus fan. And that's just a digression. But yeah, so this was for Marvel versus Capcom Origins over here, which was just a re-release of 1 and 2. And that was sort of all we got. But then a couple years after that, we got Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which not a good game by any right, has some interesting premise or like interesting story ideas and interesting character choices. Like I really like Ultron and Sigma. I really like the Monster Hunter as a fighter. I like Carol Danvers as a fighter, but I only exclusively like her when she's in her original costume because that makes it make sense, right? But Infinite, for all of its flaws, like at least we got an entry in it. But the entry, as we all know, it was terrible. It was also really beleaguered by Marvel at the time, because Marvel said, if you're going to do another versus Capcom game, our rule is that you cannot show any Marvel characters losing. So in the plot, in all the like fight cutscenes, Marvel characters always come out on top, whether it's Carol Danvers, Captain America, doesn't matter who they're fighting. Could be X, could be Chun-Li. They always have to lose. So and there was the whole no X-Men mandate going on. So this was the first Marvel versus game to not have Wolverine or Mags. So it set a lot of people off. Myself included, because it's like, dude, you guys are being so petty over this Fox license. So all that to say, I think what we're seeing here is I think this might be another Origin situation where they're going to release this collection, but the fact that the collection's even coming out, the fighting collection, shows that there is they've renewed their relationship in some level, and again, just the sheer fact that relationship has been renewed should be enough to go, maybe we're going to get something. That's why, like, I am very, very open to the idea that maybe there is an MVC4 coming down the pipe. Maybe the fighting collection is testing the water for, is anybody going to buy another, like, entry? And so, like, yeah, I think, as far as the Deadpool panel, well-timed joke. I think this is just coincidence, but I do think there might be something cooking in the Marvel offices. Either way, I really hope there is something cooking up there, but I hope it plays well, and it's not. I hope it's more like 3 and less like Infinite. Honestly, if they want a modern title to sort of take inspiration from Dragon Ball FighterZ, which basically is built off of your MVC Guilty Gear level craziness. So yeah, hopefully we get something more. The signs there are good. Obviously nothing confirmed, but I think if you were to say, if you wanted to have hope, or you said I have an inkling, I think you would be fully okay and in the right. Let's see. Hey, Banana's in the house. He just showed up while I was doing that rant. What is up, my friend? And then, yeah, Rhaegar says, yes, it is Smilo. Dude, that helmet design is just so utterly embarrassing. Do I have the Hasbro? Oh, no, wait. What was it listed? Stranger, I think. They made a toy, yeah, for the Black Series, and it looks even worse. It looks even worse. Like, when I see this, okay, so like, I think I talked about this either here or on the Bounding 01 stream, Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Go check it out. I understand what Leslie Headland thought she was doing with this design, right? Long, like elongated smiles can be creepy. Think of the Cheshire Cat. Think of the Joker. Think of this is a really obscure one, but if you guys remember the Return the Slab, like in Courage the Cowardly Dog, like the original like crazy guy has like a really long grimace smile. Like that's a very common horror thing. It's supposed to be very unsettling. Like that was pretty much the entire premise of that movie from the other year, Smile, right? I paused for a second because I couldn't remember if it was last year or before, so I just went with other. So in concept, I 1000% understand what she is trying to do. Unfortunately, this execution is absolutely terrible. This isn't scary. This isn't intimidating. When I look at this, what comes to my mind is Skeletor going, yeah, and that's not scary, right? Like, Skeletor is scary because of what he does. He's not inherently scary because he goes, yeah, but that is what this reminds me of, and it's so hard to take it seriously or anything. So, like, that's why I presume you have it, Rhaegar, because you're just mocking it, and you're like, what the hell are we doing here anymore? But, yeah, just so bad. Let's see. Also, oh yeah, and then you guys are like, yeah, Shinkai's saying Spencer turning his neck like an owl, or Spider-Man turning his neck like an owl, and then Reed commenting on Mega Man's face, the B-horror film looking face. Yeah, it's really, 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 really bad. Like, I'm glad you can sort of see in the new collection, they're leaning more into the old artwork by like Bengus and Chiraco. So I'm super excited about that because that art looks good, and it communicates the energy of what you're about to pick up, the jazz fusion, the upbeat, the 300 hit combos, the splashes of light going all over the place. Like, it's supposed to be crazy, not American comic book reserved, if you will. Yeah, exactly. To Hillam, the helmet looks like a recycled trash can. It looks like they just flipped like a trash can upside down. Oh man. Also, yeah, from Rhaegar, that's about $99 too expensive. 100% agreed. I'd buy it. I'd buy that for $1 at that, right? As like a joke, if anything. But what do you say here? Yeah. Also, I don't understand why Smilo has the Darth Vader respirator breathing. He is healthy. Yeah. So I hate doing this because I hate Star Wars so much nowadays because it is just so bad. But let's see if I can pull it up here. You did this to me, Rhaegar. You did this to me. I want to. So I know 90% of you. I think maybe me and Rhaegar might be the only people here watching it, and that's only because Rhaegar is clearly a masochist, and I have to do it for work. But the B horror film is in reference to the Smilo Ren helmet. Yeah, like if this was a B movie horror villain, there might be something to it. Like if I look at this and I go, I can see this, like I see a welder's mask, maybe a crazy guy who's a welder goes and just tries to make something really rough and crude, right? It kind of makes sense for something like that. It doesn't make sense as like, I am making this for a reason to intimidate as a symbol. Like it doesn't work like that. But for those of you who aren't watching the series, I'm going to show you, like, let's check out this. So this is from the, why didn't it work? Why is my thing not working anymore? Okay, here, I just got to find out how to reconfigure it. It just did. That's weird that it was on that. It was looking for a window that does not exist. So let me just pull that up. Are we working now? I mean, clearly it's playing, but that's whack. It won't play my damn VLC screen over here. What are you doing to me? Why you got to be like that? Why you got to be so rude? Oh man, that's kind of a bummer. I don't even know where it, like, did it move? I can't even like move it around on. Well, that is something that is unfortunate that I'm clearly going to have to fix when I am off stream, because otherwise I am just going to bore the hell out of everybody with my with this. Maybe will this work? Maybe this will work. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to feel very, very stupid. Ah, there we go. Cool. Well, now I've got to like readjust it and everything, but that's not hard because StreamYard likes, or not StreamYard, OBS likes to snap things. So that'll be really easy for me to get that back in position. Go up here. Oh, Precigiano. Hey. Okay. So, hold on. Let me lock that so it doesn't move around anymore. So, yeah, for those, we're not going to play the music because it's or I guess the audio has to play. But this is the end of the last episode. So this is Osha. She finds Smilo Ren's helmet, and she's sort of like, contemplating the dark side with it. And she has this moment, and she puts it on. Isn't that where it ends? Yeah, and then it closes out there. So let's just hang out with her for a second. So yeah, that's the end scene from the last episode. Basically, after all this philosophizing with Manny Jacinto about the dark side, she looks at his helmet, puts it on, and as she puts it on, she starts breathing like Darth Vader. And clearly, by the way, it was framed and whatever. That was supposed to be really, really deep, really, really like, oh my God, I never saw the parallels. But a few things about how absolutely stupid this is. And yeah, Rhaegar, I don't get that either. How can he even see out of that thing? The slit's way too small. Like, it doesn't work. But anyway, what really pisses me off about this is that if you guys remember, Darth Vader's helmet, the reason he breathes like that is because he is like butchered. He is a walking burned corpse, right? Like he lost all of his limbs during the battle with Mustafar. Everything was burned up because Obi-Wan left him there. Then the Empire gives him everything, right? The breathing apparatus. That's what that breathing is for Darth Vader. It's him literally breathing through like an assisted oxygen tank because he doesn't have lungs. So it doesn't make sense here for anybody to just put on a helmet and start, breathing really heavily. I saw an article from one of the big stupid sites, whether it's like CBR, IGN, whatever, yesterday, where they were like, this moment reveals a new hint about Darth Vader from the original series. And I was like, what the hell? No, it doesn't. I clicked it and they're like, what this shows is that the helmets are truly, like, Sith helmets are truly unwieldy and hard, like, to wear by people, and that's part of their challenge and their nature. And I'm like, no, it's not. Literally, it's not even like a canon thing for Sith to have helmets. It was a Darth Vader thing because he was a paraplegic, like, cripple. It was a Darth Revan thing because you needed that for plot purposes, right? Because you needed the mask to hide who exactly Kylo was. You got it from the bad guy in number 2. Malik has it. No, not Malik. Somebody else has, like, I can see it. I forget the character's name, but it's the one on the cover. Is that Kreia who in the mask? I can't remember. One person has, like, but that's a mask. It's not even a helmet. And then you have Kylo in the sequel, but he's very intentionally doing that, like wearing that helmet because of Darth Vader. Like, he took the inspiration from his uncle or his grandpa for that, right? Like, we know that's what they talk about in the film. So this is just trying too hard. It's really Nihilist. Yes, thank you, Reeve. Thank you. Yeah, it was Darth Nihilist. That's who it was. Yeah. So this entire scene is just like, you're trying too hard. You don't know why you're trying too hard. And I need this show to be over. I think we have 2 episodes left. It cannot end quick enough. Rhaegar says, so yesterday at a family get-together for 4th of July, my cousin was telling me about how great this show was, and my soul was dying in real time. So I have been in that situation myself before, right? Especially with, like, Marvel stuff or superhero stuff, because that's more my alley nowadays, now that I've stopped paying attention to Star Wars. I have learned, like, so, like, on one hand, my what am I trying to say? So, like, I understand the struggle there, Rhaegar, where you're like, dude, I know this is bad. Like, let me tell you how bad it is. Like, you're wrong. But then there's also that struggle of like, well, you're my friend, you're my family. I don't want to just be mean and shit all over you. So I have learned, and this is personal. I'm not saying you did anything right or wrong. I don't even know how you handled it. It sounds like you just handled it fine, whatever. I'm not criticizing anybody, but like the way I do it is I just roll with the flow. They clearly, like, they're more casually invested in it than I am. So hitting them with things like, all the Sith don't wear helmets, only 4 did it in history, stuff like that is gonna make them go like, what the who cares? Like, I get it. So, like, I've learned just in like bigger social situations, if the other person isn't of our, like, same fighting level, if that makes any sense, like, they're not of our awareness, it's best to just be like, yeah, dude, no, it's pretty cool. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Like, tell me, what do you like about it? Oh yeah, I saw that on, I saw a clip of that on Twitter. That looked pretty cool. Or at least, like, what I like to do, because no matter what the production is, you can always find 1 or 2 things, maybe a handful of things that, they did right, that you can compliment. For example, in The Acolyte, I think Manny Jacinto is actually a really good, like, villain character. I don't like his portrayal so much, but I think it's a great cast. Same with Master Soul. And I personally like, even though it is stupid, and maybe this is just the inner 12-year-old in me, like, speaking, but I like when he, like, splits his lightsaber in half and has, like, the dual lightsabers. It's dumb, but it's like that cool dumb, right? Rule of cool. So, like, if I'm in a situation like that, I would just talk about like, oh yeah, like I really like Master Soul. Like I like that actor. I think he's doing a good performance. You know, just talk about the good things. You don't have to rail on them. And I think all of us are going to be the better off for it. Again, not a criticism on you, Rhaegar. I'm sure, like I know you probably handled it perfectly fine. But yeah, like I this is more talking to the fact that like I see too many people like go full like power level on people like when the situation, like when it's just not necessary, when it's not needed. So just life advice with Spencer. That's what you guys all stopped by for. Yeah, Bane had the armor, but it wasn't just like one helmet or mask. Like that was all over his body, and like whatchamacallit, like he had like the spike helmet come, like it's different. So but yeah, this is clearly being written by someone who has like, I'm not going to say Leslie Headland never isn't a Star Wars fan or didn't pay attention or didn't like it when she was a kid, but she's clearly not invested in it for the reasons that most Star Wars fans are invested in it. Clearly what we are getting here is a giant 8-episode long shipping fest rather than anything that does anything to instill a sense of adventure or a sense of excitement, of peril. It's just sort of like, we're here. That guy killed somebody. Oh, she's mad. Now she's not mad. Like, this series is so hard for me every week to give a care about, to even rail on, because it's just, it's boring. There's just nothing here, which is, you can pretty much just sum up the entirety of Disney Star Wars with that, right? Like, there's just nothing left to it. But yeah, completely dumb. Have fun paying $100 for that helmet. It is sold out. I don't know if you guys caught that. Check that. This thing is sold out. So I don't know. They either like there's either a hidden conclave of secret acolyte adherents that is hanging out in the mountains of Appalachia that is buying all of this up, that has alerts on their phone for when somebody tweets about the acolyte, about new merch going on sale. It's either that or they made like three of these, like 3 total, and just sold those and then went, oh, we're all sold out, because I don't know. I'm going to start, here's what I'm going to start playing a game, and I invite everybody else to sort of play this with me. Let's, let's say, when does this come out? September 15th next year. So starting in, let's say 2026, January, we need to come back and we need to, like, somebody out there remind us, somebody set a reminder here. I'll even put a thing on my phone right now in front of all of you so that you can see that, like, what we're going to do. So, calendar, Jan 1st. Oh, whoops, I did it wrong. Let's see, July 2024, 2020, January 2nd. We're going to do January 2nd, or no, here. January 7th will be the first stream back of Good Mav Ugly of 2026, if we're still on our normal schedule. So, Smilo helmet check. Last all day. So, as I put on my phone right now, I want to see, like, starting in 2026, because we got to have, like, let people have time to, like, get their shipments and have it go out and stuff. How, like, let's start playing a Where's Waldo type game of where's Kimmer's helmet? Like, look in all, we regularly see, because of the people, a lot of people in our sphere, whether it's like Cassie or the Geeks and Gamers crew or whatever, like, they will engage with chill YouTubers and take other people's arguments apart. So we see a lot of other setups from other YouTubers. Starting in 2026, I invite everybody to join me in trying to find anybody who actively displays this helmet behind them. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be nobody, but I refuse it's going to be as much like this many to the point where we're selling this crap out, right? Like, maybe 15 is maybe like the amount of YouTubers we'll see having this behind them. And I don't know who else is going to get the rest of them. Maybe like comic book stores, and it's just going to sit on the shelf because they're going to have it up for like Smilo Red Helmet, $160, and nobody's going to want to buy it. I don't know. But I am baffled at this being sold out. And then, yeah, Tehillim says, thing is, over time, Bane knew he needed to get rid of the Orbalisk armor because they were practically a living species. They also had pros and cons to being used. Right. And see, like, that is a story type thing that justifies the helmet. Just like Darth Vader's helmet is justified by the story, Kylo's helmet is justified by the story, and I don't want to say Revan's is justified by the story. It's more justified by the dramatic, like the fact that you're playing a game and it by the mystery. If it weren't for the mystery of Revan's identity, I don't know if he would still have a helmet. But that's sort of what I mean. Like, there has to be a reason for them to have helmets. It's not just uniform. They don't just, not everybody just wears helmets. This is a weird thing that this one guy is doing. Yeah, Rhaegar says, yeah, I'm usually more passive about it with like coworkers or family. Now and then I will ask questions. What did you like about X to get more context? I'm naturally inquisitive. Oh yeah, dude, you were just like, I'll do that too, to like, just be like, oh yeah, oh, you like the Acolyte? What's your favorite part about it? Just because like, on one hand, I am baffled, like, what the fuck, like, really? And then, like, because, so I just want to, like, I want to know, man, like, what is it about it that appeals to you? And that's often where you can see sort of in the responses of, like, who likes it. You know, a lot of people who are into this new Star Wars stuff are more casual about it. They're not the ones who are like us, who were invested in all the stuff for years. They're the ones who are like, oh, I saw an ad for this in the TV guide. I guess there's a new Star Wars thing. Why don't we pop it on? Oh, I saw somebody on my Twitter feed talking about this. I guess this is the thing everybody's talking about this week. Let's give it a watch. So, yeah, it's but yeah, no, I'm just like you, Rhaegar. And like I said, I knew you weren't going to be like that, like combative or anything about it. Like you're not that kind of person. But then yeah, alternate Starkiller had a helmet from The Force Unleashed. I think there was a reason behind that though, wasn't there? If there wasn't, either way, it was an alternate design and it never really like got anywhere. So I'm okay with letting it slide. I swear it was like a medical helmet, wasn't it? Like, wasn't that after he got like, because that's his dark side uniform, isn't it? So I can't remember, but side note, I love the Force Unleashed games. Those are so much fun, and they're like, I miss the Havoc's physics engine, and I talked about this, I think, on the 01 stream, but one of the things I really like in video games is when I like the sense of being dropped into a first level, at least in like a long sort of expansive action adventure game. Yeah, it was one of his clones because there was like 900 of them, Space Dave. But one of my favorite things in video games is when you start a game and your first mission, or the tutorial rather, you have everything available to you, right? You go, oh, this is what I can be. And then something happens and all of your stuff goes away, and that's where you hit 0 and you go, now, whoa, okay, now I got to go out and strive to get all of my stuff back or to get back to that level because I know now that that's what is possible. In most games, this is done really, really sloppily. Like Legend of Zelda, he just decides like, I don't need him. I'll leave him behind. In Mega Man, he leaves behind all of his weapons at the start of each game. In Metroid, Samus will start the game with her, all of her accoutrements and then get hit by an alien or an enemy and it disables everything. So like that to me is always sort of clunky because it's like, oh, you had to give it to us and then conveniently take it away from us, right? Like use something in the plot that just all of a sudden like, oh, how convenient, we can take it away. In The Force Unleashed, the first game, I think it's the best way they ever did it because in that game, you start off not as like an overpowered, superpowered Starkiller, but you start off as Vader. The first mission in the first Force Unleashed game is a fully powered Vader who's like, it's even stronger than you can be a Starkiller because like his force levels are unlimited, his jump goes higher, he can kill in one hit. He's a monster and it's great. But the entire point of the mission is it's Vader going in and, raiding Kashyyyk and finding Starkiller and being like, well, I'm gonna, that's my apprentice, or like leaving it all in like sort of setting up Starkiller's backstory. So then when you switch to Starkiller, it makes sense. You're like, oh yeah, I am a fledgling now. Like I'm a Padawan, a Sith apprentice. I gotta get to that level of Darth Vader. Let's see. Rhaegar says, it was a great game. Visions of God of War 2 until Zeus lays the smackdown. Dude, God of War 2, that was the peak of the series. I'm not a fan of these new games. I think they lack the charm of those original ones and they sort of miss the over-the-top camp point of them. And yeah, these new PS4, PS5 God of Wars are just, they're boring. I don't really want to work through your midlife crisis, dude. I've got my own problems going on. I'm playing a video game to sort of get out of that realm of existence. I will go watch, like, I don't know. I will go do anything else before I play God of War Ragnarok. Space Dave says, honestly, the games became way more contrived as they weigh on. Starkiller was way overpowered. I mean, yeah, once you get to 2, honestly, it's not even 2. It's where things start getting contrived in these games is halfway through number 1 when when Palpatine says to Vader, like, you have to kill your apprentice. I won't stand for it. Rule of 2. And he throws him out the window. And then the next cutscene is like, oh, no, I saved you. I brought you back in with the Force. You're alive. We're going to do this in secret. From that point on, that's where I think, like, things start getting really contrived. But then once you get to 2, that's where, like, his Force powers start getting contrived. And everything just goes, like, over the top, which, like, I can appreciate because it felt almost like a, fuck it, we'll do it live. Who cares anymore? The franchise is being sold to Disney. What does it matter anymore? But then I also understand, like, why'd you have to do that? We had something so good here. Shinkai says, so like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood being almost killed or being a few chapters down and then doing a rewind to a few months or being boosted. I don't like that one per se. I don't like opening in a story and then going back to the beginning. That just isn't, I've never really been a fan of that sort of storytelling device. It can work and people have made it work. And there are definitely things I love. If I had a list, I'm sure there are things I like where that takes place. But for the most part, I'm more talking about you start the game and you are powerful. You have all your equipment. And then as you progress, something happens and you have to lose everything. You don't go back in time. It's just like your adventure, you're still on that same straight path, but something right here causes you to lose everything. So instead of going backwards, you're still going forwards. You just got to repower up. Yeah, my friends and I were all laughing at how Kratos was such a terrible person, but those were super fun games. I've beaten the original trilogy many times, even on Titan. Yeah, the original trilogy, I have like a lot of fond memories of like going to a friend's house after school, trading the controller around, oh, you suck at this fight. Let me do it. Like, oh no, I can do it, blah, blah, blah. I am a big fan of third-person character action games. So things like God of War, Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, that kind of stuff. So any third-person action game, I am a huge, I will play it. You put it in third-person character action, I'm at least going to pick up the controller. And I thought the Blades of Chaos were a fun way to, they were like a fun, neat weapon that we really hadn't seen before in a lot of games, like very, very sparingly and not sort of in that violent, glowy of a way. So it's one of those things where it's almost like you had to be there. But yeah, I much prefer those games that have actual gameplay over the current God of War games that are just push A, mash A. Oh, here's an axe that will give you plus 2% against frozen enemies whose birthday is at least 2 months away, right? Like that. I hate gear systems, guys. I hate gear systems. I've played games where I've enjoyed it, but it has long overstayed its welcome and it needs to go. Like I am just completely done with those things. Okay. Before we get into the main topic, because so I genuinely didn't think we would be laughing this much and actually talking about the Acolyte. So I had some other stuff to talk about, but the main thing. So luckily, what am I trying to say? We have stuff to talk about. Obviously, we're going to get to DC in a second, but the one. Normally I would jump to it right now, but there was one thing I wanted to bring up because I've sort of had it on the docket ever since I found it the other day. And what is this stream for if not for laughing and criticizing and going, what the hell about comic books, right? So if you follow me on Twitter, at Kabuto Rider Mav, why not go give me a follow if you don't right now? But if you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen that the other day I've shared this cover. So this is the cover by Salvador LaRocca and Edgar Delgado for the Amazing Spider-Man Annual for 2024. As you can sort of see, so what is backstory to the event? Right now they're doing an event in a bunch of annuals called the Infinity Watch. a couple years ago, there was an event called the Infinity Wars, where at the end of it, the Infinity Stones, Thanos was defeated, the Infinity Stones split up, but instead of being stones, they sort of embedded themselves in people. So now the stones are sort of living. And this current event is about all the stone users sort of coming back together and reuniting, because it literally, Marvel introduced them like 2 years ago, haven't used them since. So I guess they went, oh yeah, I guess we got to use the Infinity Stones again. We got to use these guys. So what you're looking at here is the cover to the Spider-Man annual, where he fights, or not fights, but encounters the Time Stone bearer by the name of Overtime, who, very basic powers. He's able to like warp back in time. He can do that to make multiple duplicates of himself. Yada, 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 yada. Nothing too out of the ordinary as far as time traveling powers go. But the reason I bring up this cover is because I do not know, as one of my followers pointed out, the more you look at this, the worse it gets. There are so many errors on this cover that I genuinely do not know how this got out of publishing. And they are not minor errors either, right? So like, this is the first one that caught my attention. Spidey's hands here. He's clearly shooting his webs, but for some reason, it is coming out the top of his hands. And it's not even coming out of his hands. It's completely detached. You even see Salvador LaRocca. He drew a web shooter. It's there. I don't know what happened when Delgado was inking it, when Marvel was putting this together in Photoshop. I don't know. But this is such a whack error, right? And then you get this hand where, okay, looks like a normal hand, but wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fingers? What is he even doing? Like, how did you get 6 fingers there? That doesn't even, there's just no way that makes sense. And then you go over here to this duplicate of Overtime, and yeah, Spidey's webbing his face, but he's got like no eye sockets, no eyeball, no nose, no brow. It is literally just like a wall of meat. Like, it is a putty face. Like, it's weird. It's kind of creepy. And then the other one we noticed on my page was, what's going on with this one's teeth? Like, why are they, it looks like he has like jagged chompers, and it's like, what did I say? I was like, I made a joke about it. He looks like British Beavis, like from Beavis and Butthead. So yeah, I just wanted to, like, but that's the thing, Space Dave, like, Space Dave says DEI hires, maybe in the actual editorial, like, finished print room, but like Salvador LaRocca, I don't really like his style that much. Him and Delgado, like, they regularly do stuff. I'm not a big fan of their art style, but they've never done anything this like noticeably crappy. Like, this is just an absolutely stunning disaster out of Marvel, out of Salvador. Maybe they had to do it on like no budget, or like not budget, but like no time. Just something about, even if we step back from the errors, just something about this cover is so boring. There's no dynamicism. There's no real action. It's just, this doesn't get me to want to read this story. And for those of you who actually wonder, the stories so far themselves are not that interesting. The big overarching thing that Marvel is doing with the series is that they have introduced a new Infinity Stone. It is the Death Stone, because at the end of the last event, Death turned herself into a stone. And then that stone is now the living embodiment of Death, and that is it's inside Phil Coulson. So they're reviving Phil Coulson after the Heroes Reborn events, if you guys remember that whole story. Which, hold on. Yes, Rhaegar, Space Cornholio, exactly. And then, yeah, Space Dave, never use generic blue backgrounds. At the very least, manga does this. Like, this is something I think they should take a lot from manga. Speed lines in the back. You just put, like, speed lines in the background, put a bunch of speed lines centered on Spidey's head. Boom! Way more dynamic of a cover. I'm instantly way more excited. So to these next points, we got 3 questions or 3 points here that sort of all roll together. Volume Dealer asks, are these Infinity Watch characters all new? Tehillim says, so they are basically Captain Planet when all together. And then Space Dave says, can Marvel please stop retreading Infinity Stones Watch Universe Thanos stories? I'm so tired of them. Lack of creativity. So, yeah, to all these points, I touched upon it very briefly when bringing up the cover, but these characters are all new. Let me see if I can find like a general graphic of them. Because they're, where are they? Maybe or like what do we even call it? Like living Infinity Stones? They don't have a team name yet. There we go. Here's an article. Maybe it'll have a picture for me. Well, no, but they've at least got like a quick breakdown here that I can just sort of show everybody. That makes me sad that I can't just find like a really quick image showing their roster. But anyway, so a couple years ago there was, like Space Dave said, Marvel was retreading the Infinity War sort of storyline. Another global. It was. How do I put this? You guys know me. I hate movie synergy, right? When the comics or video games or whatever, if they have a movie coming out, they try to change the characters to make them all, line up with the movie because they presume, oh, you go to the movie, you're going to come back and you're going to want to read the comic books and you're going to want to see those characters. So a couple years ago, they went full MCU synergy and they not only did a new Infinity Stone storyline and brought back Thanos and all that crap, but they also... it was a multiverse story where they use the Infinity Stones to mash up everybody and create new multiverses. And it was a lot, right? It was basically just like MCU disease to a T. But at the end of that event, like I was saying, the Infinity Stones, instead of, they spread out, but instead of staying as stones, they sort of fused themselves with living beings. And so now the Infinity Stones are all living people and they all give powers to people. So you have, Quantum here, who has the Space Stone. He can teleport. You have the Prince of Power, who is bonded with the Power Stone. This is actually kind of a fun concept, I think. He's very much that like Aquaman from Brave and the Bold, like outrageous, I'm the best, but he doesn't know how to use the power yet. So it's fun. They haven't really done a lot with him yet, but I thought putting one of the stones and sort of a loser who doesn't really have that big of a presence in the rest of the MCU was really good. Like, they haven't even brought him back yet for these annuals. So we'll see where he comes up. Yeah, I saw it, Dave. I will check it in just a second. Then we have Star, who is bonded with the Reality Stone, who, like, I feel like there's so much more you can do with her. I feel like there is something here, but I feel like they're just not utilizing her right. Like, she can control reality, and let me even see, her design's a little generic, but it's not bad. She's fun. I kind of wish they would be doing more with her. Obviously they are doing more with her now. Here, I'll bust this out because shout out to our boy who is not here, Andrew. Always get that J. Scott Campbell art for you. Yeah, like, she's not a bad design. I really do wish they sort of would do more with her. I like the classic superhero-ness. I like the 3-tone colors, and I like that. I don't know. I just like the design. That's a personal thing, right? So yeah, you have Star, then you have Overtime, who we're looking at on that cover, who can control time. Then you have Multitude, who is sort of like it's a robot who got infused with the Soul Stone, and now he's like, it's kind of like a Pinocchio story, but he's also able to make constructs out of other living things. So like in his debut story, he got like attacked and he went, Wolverine, Spider-Man, like attack. So he made like sort of like GL level constructs. So that's who they are. They haven't done a lot with them yet. Like I said, there's some interesting stuff here. I will give them they're all being used sort of originally, even if some of the designs sort of suck. Like Quantum sort of sucks. Overtime kind of sucks. Multitude's design sort of sucks, but there at least it feels for the first time in a long time that there's actually some level of effort being put into how they use them. Again, I'm with Space Dave where I think it's stupid that they're Infinity Stone related or whatever, but at least we're seeing something new, and it's not, another race swapped character, another legacy character, another this will be your favorite character of 2024 and forcing them on everything and then getting mad at you and calling you a bigot if you don't like them. So that's where they are right now, and that's what they're dealing with in the annuals right now. Don't know how that is going to work out. Like I said, this is only chapter 2. It's we just got it. Okay. I want to bring this up because I have not been able to wrap my head around it, and it's related to this issue, and I just remembered it because I was looking down there. But actually, before I lose my mind over here, let's go see what Dave said. Dave. Oh yeah, no, I can't tell you guys. I got to tell Dave in the back. Let me just reply. I'm not going to leave you hanging, my friend. Okay. Back to this. So yeah, so like I was saying, new annuals, telling a story, doing all this stuff. But as you can sort of see on the cover there, the main stories in all of these books are being done by or let me rephrase that. Sorry. The main stories in all these annuals concerns whatever hero's book it is fighting against or meeting up with whichever Infinity Stone bearer is on the cover, right? So we had Spider-Man here. What was the one the other week? The other week was it was a Thanos annual, and it involved what even was it? Oh, it was just all of the stones getting back together. Star was the main character, and that's all it was. But as you see there is a backup story. Hold on. Phil Coulson stuff, and I don't know if you can read it right there, but it is here. Let me switch over to the comic book window. But this is being the backup story is being written by Derek Landy and drawn by Sarah Pichelli, right? If you guys don't know who Sarah Pichelli is, let me show you some of her work, if you will. Whoops. Oh, wait, I gotta go to a completely different, what was that issue of hers? What? Yeah. No, I have it here, damn it. I can see it. Do not run away from me. What book is this? This is okay. Here's something we can all take to the bank, and I want you all to be as pissed as me about, and it kind of applies to something we always talk about. The fact that Miles Morales, they keep trying to make him Spider-Man, makes it impossible to find what fucking book I'm looking for. So it's like Spider-Man Volume 9, and I'm like, is it a Peter volume? Is it a Miles volume? I have no idea what you want from me. So yeah, it's just, that's very, very infuriating, and I hate it. But it's okay. I'm pretty sure I found what I was looking for. Yes. All right. So. Did I find it? Yes, I believe I did. So, okay. Maybe I didn't. This is stupid. This is why I need an editor. I need a man in the chair. And then sort by name. There it is. We found it. Okay. Now we can get going. Now we can get back on to what I was talking about. Let's get back on track. So, the backup story here about Phil Coulson is drawn by Sarah Pichelli. So, this is this is the like her story, right? This is the last. These are the pages, last 2 pages of this chapter of the book, and it's said it's like drawn by Sarah Pichelli. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, kind of boring, kind of with the same thing Space Dave was talking about, where the background's really boring. There's just, it's so generic, it's just blue, like nothing's happening here. So I was like, when I read this, I went, who's on art? It feels very weird that they're giving the big Phil Coulson story to just a new person. And I learned it was Sarah Pichelli, and that took me by surprise, because to me, Sarah Pichelli, again, so what I'm about to pull up, I know none of us necessarily like him, but Sarah Pichelli, I know she's done good work because she drew the first volume of Miles's like full Spider-Man book, and this is incredible. Like, I know she's good at art. Look at this. This is like, there are facial expressions, the line work is clean, there's dynamicism. Like, look at that explosion there. Look at the backgrounds that are going on here. Even here, this is, right here where Miles is stopping the school bus, it's sort of like what I was talking about, where they didn't have to do full backgrounds, but they got speed and blur going, so you have the sense that he's moving. Look at this Blackheart. It looks genuinely terrifying and demonic. You even get to this page here with Peter, and there's rubble, there's the other Avengers. Like, this looks really good. So it's so... Yeah, like, that's what I think, Space Dave, is that it might be her inker, but to me, it's just like, wow, such a disservice to do that. Like, put her with a good inker then, Like, again, this isn't, I'm not refuting you, Space Dave. It's sort of just like, man, you guys undersold her so hard. Like, you did her dirty by doing that. Like, it is very, very rough. And that was just something I observed. And yeah, Space Dave, I'm right there with you. I think it is probably her inker, but it is just sort of like one of those, man, you did that to her. It's sort of like trading like you have Barry Bonds and you trade him over to, like, I don't know, at the time, like, you trade him over to the San Diego Padres at the time, who were just awful. And it's just like, why, good player, why would you do him so dirty like that? Like weird. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I got reminded of that because of the Sarah Pichelli thing at the bottom. Tehillim says Star kind of looks like Power Girl. I agree. Not that probably has a not insignificant or plays a non insignificant role in why I probably like her. Like, I do not doubt that. Space Dave says, I can get behind the desire to create new characters, though some of these look like DC retreads. Yeah, so that's sort of what I was getting at, Space Dave. Like, I'm right there with you. I'm all for the original characters. I like, sort of the concepts they're doing with them. Like, I really like that, oh, he's a robot who got the Soul Stone and now he can make constructs. Oh, I like Prince of Power being sort of a goofball who has all, like, the Power Stone. I like the idea of Star being a reality warping superhero who likes being a superhero. Like, I like those ideas, but then... yeah, the designs lean very, very heavy DC and just generic sort of DC. Like, you know what? Overtime here, you know what he reminds me of, Space Dave and everybody else? Reminds me of Geoforce, right? Over off of the Teen Titans with that big, like, circle, right, like, patch right there. Reminds me of Ion from when Kyle Rayner had the Ion entity inside of him from the power battery. So, yeah, I am right there with you. Yeah, but Marvel sales on main characters are in the toilet. Disney just destroys everything they touch. Sigh. Right. None of this is good stuff. It's just sort of like, credit where credit is due. They're trying, and they've at least got some interesting concepts, but it's like the rest of everything else that's going on is just really bad. And I don't even remember why I brought up the Infinity Stone people. I think I just wanted to talk about that cover. That's why we brought it up in the first place. I wasn't like, guys, Marvel they're doing the best thing ever nowadays. Like, you got to read this story about the Infinity Watch. It was like, guys, this cover is awful. I don't know how late or when you tuned in though, specifically Space Dave, but I did talk about this a little earlier. If you do want, I will give Marvel credit. One of the one good things they are doing, Ultimate Spider-Man. So, like, I will give this a stamp of approval. Great, amazing book. Sort of, like, again, one of the best things. Peter as a family man. Peter as a responsible adult. MJ as a caring, loving wife who supports him. Great interactions between everybody. Pick up Ultimate Spider-Man. But, yeah, so Space Safe says, the funny thing is, modern colorists, inkers, etc. have computer graphics programs to make their art more realistic and beautiful, but instead they just do the basics, if not worse than before. There is something, like, I am right there with you. Like, there's something between, and I think this goes back to something I sort of talk about all the time. A lot of us talk about all the time. I just switched over to Star because it's more fun to look at than the article. But it's sort of, when you have more freedom and more tools to do something, the less likely you are to either, you know, or what am I trying to say? Like, constraints, like limitations, breed creativity. So when you have all of these tools available to you, you sort of go like, oh, I can just do that, whatever. But back in the day, they only had, you know, 7 like inks available. They only had so many panels. They only had so much time to get the coloring right. So they had to work within those limitations. So, you know, things weren't so heavily shaded. Backgrounds were very, you know, they were allowed to be all blue because the characters in the front were so starkly contrasted against them that that's what the point was. It was playing with that color theory. Now it just sort of feels like, instead of trying to do something like, oh, I want to communicate this in the panel, or the color should play this way, they just go, okay, I did it. And it's like, but like inkers, like, again, shout out to Brody from Mallrats. People think inkers just trace over, but it's like the weight you give those lines, the specific bleed you give those, like, all of that stuff matters. And it just feels like that as a whole is routinely sort of gone from comics altogether nowadays. Yeah, exactly, Space Dave. Hence why Hulk was colored green after being gray for like 1 or 2 issues, right? Because they were like, our colors, what are we gonna do? But then, yeah, so let's see. While I pull up our main topic du jour, because I think we're headed in the right direction. We have a good jump on point here with Space Dave bringing up DC characters and all that. So our main topic du jour, today, tonight, to whatever, for this stream, is in a surprise upset for a normal Marvel heavy stream from the biggest Spider fan around. This week, we are actually going to be talking about the brand spanking new DC event. I don't know what you guys know about it, but it is called Absolute Power. And to be frank, my friends, it so far is an absolute bore. So before we kick things off officially, I wanted to point out, so my stream buddy tonight, in that I did play around with like, oh, this is a DC stream, but I'm a Marvel guy. So this week I have been reading the old Squadron Supreme comics. And if you guys don't know what the Squadron Supreme is, created by Mark Gruenwald back in the 80s, they were a parody. They are a Marvel team, but they are a parody of the Justice League. So you have like Hyperion is Superman, Power Princess is Wonder Woman, the Wizard, or is it Wizard? Yeah, Wizard is, or Speed Demon, whichever incarnation you're talking about. That's your Flash. So I've been reading a lot of those old issues lately. They are really, 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 really good storytelling. Like the original Squadron books are a 12-issue miniseries. They had some cameos in the Avengers in the 80s and stuff. Really solid stuff. If you can go find the trades, I would highly recommend reading them if you're in the mood for like a good writing. But yeah, while reading the stories this week, one of my particular standouts was the Wonder Woman analog, Princess Power. So she's our stream buddy for this week. As an aside, this is something I'm going to say to you guys right now. One day I really hope to do a deep dive on this, maybe when I have enough like subscribers and everybody's hanging out. But I love Power Princess only because she's a cool character and, you know, honestly, she's pretty hot. But if you guys, one of my, I don't even know if it's it might be my favorite Marvel book of all time, was the the late or the early 2000s Exiles books. And for a short time, this this Power Princess, she was like not an alternate one. This exact one from this Earth was on the team. And that team had like Longshot and Miguel O'Hara from Spider-Man 2020 or 2099. And it was in that era, that book was so amazing and so special because that was at a time when Marvel wasn't exploring their multiverse. They would do like alternate, like what if books and stuff, but then sort of let them lie. So this was a way to like revisit old characters, explore different stories without doing the mess we have now, which is like, oh, here's a new version. We're going to bring them in 5 years and they're going to be the standard. So, yeah. And then, yeah, you brought up the Infinity Watch looking like DC characters. So I thought, why not hop over here for a moment? But yes, that's my girl, Power Princess. Love her. I don't know if you guys have seen. I'm just gonna bring this up real quick because it's so. I think it's funny. Her original design is very gaudy to like 80s gaudy, if you will, and it makes me laugh every time. Here, I'm gonna pull it up over. Where are we? Where's the browser window where we were using? Did it pull up the right window? Yeah, this is the original Power Princess. Love the helmet, but the gaudy part is like that, the feminist symbol in the middle. I just think that is so over the top and ridiculous. Like, it, because it's over the top and ridiculous, it kind of works, especially because the character isn't used as like this is like, I'm a woman in a man's world. Like, she's not used like that. It's literally just like, I am an Amazon, I am woman, like, hear me roar. So I thought that was pretty funny. You could probably not do this anymore, like in modern comics, without it being taken as a political statement. But that's my girl, Power Princess. She rules. I heavily enjoy her character. But anyway, so let's see. Hey, Flex is here. Let's see. Flex says, if I can scroll up for a second. Star was more interesting as a villain who existed solely to troll Carol Danvers. I did like that, like her start out as a villain, but maybe this is just like me being a sucker for blondes, but it's like, I'm glad we got it. Like, she's cute. I'm glad she's a hero now because we get to see more of her. But I am right there with you, Flex. I really liked her being an antagonist for Carol. Again, Carol is at her best when she is facing insurmountable odds, when she is sort of always on the back foot, and up against a reality warper, that's sort of how you do it. Like, side note, the other weekend I reread the pardon me, I forget what the exact storyline, like the name of it is, but the one where Carol Danvers is on the Avengers and they discover she has an alcohol problem and she refuses to get help and she gets kicked off the team, right? Like, it's a low moment for her and it sucks because, like, we're all human. We don't want to see anybody go through that, but it is good storytelling. It made her a compelling character. I was like, dude, I get it, Carol. Like, you have flaws. You're human. It made me connect with her, unlike the one nowadays who's just, I'm the best ever, put me on every team, I'm Captain Marvel, nothing can stop me, I can beat a reality warper, right? Hey, Zero's here. What is up, Zero? Hey, took too long because of KOTOR. Hey, I'm glad you're playing KOTOR. Best, like, Star Wars thing you're probably going to enjoy in a long while because nothing great is coming out anymore. Space Dave says, I'm so tired of DC events. Oh my, we will get into it, my brother. Like, trust me. There's not going to be a lot of praise coming out of this review. Hey, look at that. It is Andrew. What is going on? We've shouted you out. We were talking about you throughout all the stream. I don't know if you're hanging around, but I'm glad to see you. I hope you're having fun over at Denver Fan Expo. And then, yeah, Brian Reed Carol Danvers is peak Carol. It's just anything that's not nowadays Carol. One of my favorite. Oh my! Welcome to the Carol Danvers show, everybody. Or the Remember When Carol Danvers Was Fun show. Where is this page? This is my absolute favorite Carol Danvers page of all time. And it, like, if we got more of this Carol, like, we need to see this sort of Carol, the unhinged, edgy one. Like, this is who we need to see. How do I even bring this up? How do I even begin to bring? Oh, I know what to do. Hold on a second. So this is from Secret Invasion, when all the Skrulls came to Earth and they were taking them over, and Carol is up against a Skrull with, like, the powers of the Hulk and the powers of Luke Cage, and Colossus, and doesn't know what to do. So she says here, quote, "So I take it into outer space and I watch it die, and say what you will about me, I enjoy it." Like, Carol doesn't work as a pure paragon. She has to be the the more like, what's the word here? The best comparison I can sort of give is Batman and Superman is the dynamic that Captain America and Captain Marvel have, where Superman believes in the best of humanity and is always held up as the paragon that everybody should believe in and is hopeful and the hero, right? And an inspiration. Whereas Batman, he has a more cynical like view of the world, of how everything breaks down. So he is more cautious, he's more suspicious, he's less trusting, but he's still a hero and everybody still looks up to him, but he's not the one you go, all right, I want him to go make my like public appearance to like commemorate this park or whatever. And I think that's how Captain America and Captain Marvel should be, where Cap is the idealist who believes and fights for what is better in the world. Like that American ideal that we all strive for, that's him. Whereas Carol is the, look, Cap, we don't live in the 40s anymore. This is 2023. We fight with drones. We have underground terrorist networks. Like we have to do things that you might not consider heroic. Like that would be an amazing dynamic between the two. But because Carol has to be the perfect poster girl for Marvel, we don't get any of that fun stuff, and it's just a complete bummer. Yeah, Volume Dealer, it's the feminist like or it's like a pride fist, right? And then it's the feminist symbol, so it's like feminine pride, like that. Yeah, that's what Power Princess was rocking right there. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Jacob's here going, nerd. Hey, you're the nerd. Look, I got to get my streaming game up because I got to make up for the fact that you're not streaming at all next week. So it's going to be all on me to entertain these fine folks. Hey, Rhaegar, there you go. I love the Squadron Supreme. Hyperion was terrifying. They appeared in the Avengers cartoon from the 2010s also. That always surprised me because I believe that's Avengers Assemble. And that series is like, I have a bunch of issues with that series. It is very low quality production. They canceled Earth's Mightiest Heroes to make that because of rights issues, because Disney wanted the entire thing to themselves. It's a rough stuff. It's rough, but there are also moments where I'm like, all right, kudos. And that was one of them, seeing like the Squadron the Squadron Supreme. Really? That's the reference you're going to bust out? All right. Like I am behind it. Somebody up there is having fun and I want you to have fun. Let's see. Flex says, oh, there you go, Rhaegar. Yeah, as a sucker for blondes, I also approve. My man, you know how it goes. Yeah, oh, cool. Andrew says, I'll stick around until we decide what the hell we're doing for dinner. Hey, as long as you're here, we're happy to have you. While you're here, Andrew, I'll redo this because I don't know if you're going to go back and rewatch it, but I gave the shout out to you in the beginning. I had a mail call. I got a bunch of my pre-orders in today, and one of those pre-orders, and this is for you, buddy, Iban! I got my Ivan Cobello foil cover in finally. So yeah, just thinking of you over there. Yeah, Miss Marvel was awesome, says Space Dave. Disney Carol Danvers, blah. And then yeah, Rhaegar's got it. Carol is the cynic. Space Dave says, actually, it's unlikely Space would kill the Hulk. Right, wouldn't kill the Hulk, but a Skrull who's just emulating his strength and not his full body constitution. You can suffocate that man or that dude until he's dead. Let's see. Volume Dealer says, Spencer, did you see the Quarter Black Garrett Twitter post I tagged you in? I did. I thought I replied to you. I must not have, but I'll reply to you after the stream with it. There's a part in it, like I laughed at it, and there was a part in it that made me like super laugh, where I was like, okay, that got me. So I'll get back to you. Yeah, there you go, Ivan. Yeah, there you go. Like, oh, he's so good. I just want him to draw everything. Let's see. And then, yeah, Rhaegar's got the shout out. Earth's Mightiest Heroes was the superior show, especially the Kang, Korvac, and Malekith episodes. I 100% agree. I love those Korvac episodes with, who did they got somebody in particular, to voice, Star-Lord in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And I forget, oh yeah, that's what it is. Cause that's, so when the Guardians appear in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Rhaegar, for that, hey, Space Dave, take care, buddy. Thank you for hanging out. It was a blast getting to talk to you. I'm excited to talk to you more this weekend as we plan out more gameplay stuff. And of course, I will probably see you, if I don't talk to you before Wednesday, I will see you Wednesday for our next gameplay stream. Have fun with the family, give them my best, and yeah, go enjoy your weekend. That's why we have this show. Kick off your weekend with a bang, so you have fun, so that we can, shed all the crap that we have to deal with throughout the weekend and put smiles on our faces. But back to you, Rhaegar. The episode, that Korvac episode with the Guardians of the the Galaxy show up, the voice actor for Peter Quill in that episode is Master Chief. It's Steve Downes. So I thought that was always like a cool little Easter egg. Here, I can show you guys that one. Earth's Mightiest Guardians.
Adam, here.
Oh, heck yeah. The person even used unregistered Bandicam for this clip. That is what I am talking about. It's also very loud, but
Adam, hear me.
Okay, enough. I want answers. Who are you people? Who is Michael Korvac?
And where are we? And why can you weird
forget the Enchantress, Shinkai. What? Wasp is right there.
Mind to mind through the power of Adam Warlock's soul gem.
Okay,
Right here.
that probably didn't help explain things. Look, my name is Peter Quill. I'm the leader of the Guardians.
He's the Star-Lord. Respect him.
Rocket. We're an intergalactic peacekeeping force. We work together to keep the known galaxy stable.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Sort of like Space Avengers.
This is Quasar. Mr. Personality here is Rocket.
Rocket!
The big tree is Groot.
That voice is that's Master Chief from Halo.
Thanks to Warlock here, we intervene and deal with the situation, whatever it may be. And in this case, it's Korvac. He's a threat bigger than anything we've ever seen.
From what we have discovered, it appears he was a Kree test subject.
All right, we don't need to watch the whole thing, but yeah, like
Korvac.
I love this cartoon. I could go on about this cartoon forever. Like, they got Master Chief to, not only did they put the Guardians here, but they got Master Chief to be Star-Lord, and he put him in the best like outfits. There's that episode where they literally introduced the new Avengers, like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, because the other Avengers are off-world. The full like 2-3 season long setup for the Skrull invasion, like to reveal itself. It is a masterpiece in storytelling. It is one of those pieces of media that I kind of talk about in the same vein as Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, right? Where in the current year, we have had billions of stories and billions of characterizations and billions of little things. And, you know, when people are making stories now, or you know, let's say a big event like Absolute Power that we're going to talk about, people pick from a characterization, and you might like that one, and you might like this one, and that might come over, and that might be canon now, and that might be, but that isn't anymore, and it just gets sort of a little much, a little sort of exhausting, if you will. But with productions like, you know, Ultimate Alliance 3 or Earth's Mightiest Heroes, they're able to sort of condense everything and give you a good, what am I even trying to say here? Like Secret Invasion, right? They were able to take that storyline, and instead of having it go all wild and go crazy, they were able to condense it and tell it in a way that was streamlined, linked in with the rest of the Marvel universe, and everything made sense. I don't know. It just, go watch this show if you have not already. I literally have nothing else. Like, that is the biggest praise I can say. Stop watching me. Don't watch anything else. Burn your Disney Plus. Oh, is it on Disney Plus? Never mind. Don't burn your Disney Plus subscription until you verify whether that's on there. But watch Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Fun fact, we talked about this last week. The voice cast for Earth's Mightiest Heroes, that's who provided the voices for the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So to me, there's like that cool, like to me, these guys, like that Tony voice, that's my Tony voice. The Cap voice here, that's my Cap voice. So yes, shout out to Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Best thing ever. Like, just go watch it. Yeah, exactly, Zero. Miss the Avengers cartoon. And then, no, I want to reply, Volume Dealer. It's not that I'm dodging the issue. It's that I want to reply, but I want to tell you in private. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would have been nice to see Enchantress in the MCU at some point. It would have been, if your favorite character hasn't shown up already or didn't show up, let's put it this way. If your favorite hero or villain didn't show up prior to that final fight in Endgame, do not hold out hope that your favorite hero is going to get any sort of solid treatment, because everything since has just been making fun of and crapping on like why you like these specific heroes. So yeah, Enchantress would have been cool. But we didn't get her. But as far as baddies in the show go, no, nobody beats the Wasp. The Wasp is the hands down winner, the waifu of the series. I will not hear anything against it. Tony's voice is the guy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? The guy who becomes Graviton and the General. Oh, really? That might be him. Let's see. His name, who played him? He was played by... Gosh, his Graviton suit was so bad on the actual show. Like really bad. Why doesn't anybody want to just give me the actor? There we go. Graviton comics, in other media, television. Yeah, Fred Tat... Wait. No, okay. Tony's voice is the guy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Tony's voice is Fred Tatsicor, who is he's not from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's from pretty much every other cartoon you can ever think of. He was in I'm like trying to... There's so many things here that I know. I just like he was in Wolverine and the X-Men as Beast and Hulk. He was in Batman Brave and the Bold as Sergeant Rock. He did a bunch of voices on Mad TV. What's something he's done more recently? Let's go up here. Did a bunch of voices in Primal. He's got a lot of stuff, and I don't know why I'm like blanking on a lot of it, and I'm not like picking the right ones here on Wikipedia. But yeah, like here we go. He's the voice for Yosemite Sam, Soldier 76 in Overwatch. He's the Hulk. He's like the main Hulk voice in the last few years. He did Megatron for a while in the Transformers cartoon, so you probably heard him. The guy, I think you might have gotten him confused, Rhaegar, because for full well reason, and I'll show you why. You may have gotten confused because because Gravitron in whatchamacallit. Go here. Dude, come on. Because Gravitron looks like him. Like the Gravitron actor looks like animated Tony Stark. So like I can see it. I can see the vision. Yeah, exactly. He's been in everything. So like it's hard to pick when somebody's been in so much stuff and they're so prolific. It's really hard to be like, oh, you'll know him in that and that and that, because he's gonna be in just literally everything. Wasp midwife? No. That one. Wasp is the best waifu in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That is just not even... There's no argument against that. Reeves says they released a trailer for a new Bleach game that isn't for mobile. It's console and PC. Yeah, they were talking about that for a while. I haven't seen it yet. I also know somebody said... I think Volume Dealer said it. There was a new DC trailer for some dark animated movie film series. I have no idea. So I haven't seen any of these things today. Obviously, I got to play catch up when we're done with the stream, but I'm very interested in seeing all that stuff. Smart of them to make a Bleach game because 1,000 Year Blood War is coming out and everybody is all about that. So yeah, maybe if there's time and we don't go and I don't run too far over, maybe we'll check them out to close out the stream. But before that, and then yeah, Rhaegar, he definitely does look like the White Panther in this suit. That's why that was my comment from before. Where I was like, man, his suit just looks so not great. Yeah, I had no idea Volume Dealer, so I definitely think maybe we'll check that out by the time we get to the end or before I sign us all off. But back to the topic at hand, back to where we all started with all this, back to what started all the talk of the Squadron Supreme and got us in Marvel like it always does. So DC has launched a new event, or not launched, but it has officially kicked off. It's been in it's been building up for the past like few months or so in recent issues of Batman. There was a Suicide Squad mini that was building it up. All the Beast War, Lazarus Planet, all that stuff. It's been building to this event called Absolute Power. Now, the basic premise of Absolute Power is that Amanda Waller, in her pursuit to, keep the world safe from metahumans and, head off that threat, has decided to go full proactive and is robbing the planet's heroes of their superpowers and basically putting them into camps, going, you will not have superpowers. There are no superheroes, no supervillains. We are done here. Earth is for humans. Deal with it. Now, as I said sort of at the top, and it's kind of a bummer that Space Dave isn't here because this is sort of what I was going to get at. Full disclosure, this is my first time getting back into DC for a couple years now. So I believe I might have talked about this before I know I have in various places. I don't know if it was specifically on the stream, but ever since Dark Knight's death metal, once it ended with so for those who don't know, Dark Knight's death metal essentially ended with Wonder Woman using the lasso of truth to canonize everything that has ever happened in any DC story. So every multiversal version of somebody, they exist. Every story that involved like Superman happened to that Superman. So that was the conclusion to that event. And after that, I found, like, after reading that specific declaration or that MacGuffin win condition, I sort of found myself just disinterested in DC altogether, because that declaration sort of tells me, oh, there are no stakes anymore. If everything is canon, then that means you can just bring out that character from the multiverse and that's who they are now. Or all those stories happened, and the fact that they disappeared, that all the struggles somebody might have had forgetting that universes existed, never happened. Like, it just felt like they sort of gave themselves carte blanche to do whatever they want and go, continuity doesn't matter, stakes don't matter. If everything's canon, then it's all canon. Everything is in play. Doesn't matter how clashing they are, right? I think that's the big thing, is that throughout DC canon, if you really did say everything from Action Comics 1 to Absolute Power #1 is canon, you're going to have 7,000 different, like, continuity, what do you call it? Like, plot holes, like plot holes, things that don't line up, things that just can't happen. And if you're someone like me, and I know a lot of us are, who is an invested reader, who spent his day, like, I spent years reading these comic books, investing in each new line, following each reboot. Whoops, probably heard that microphone hit again. Still haven't gotten my arm, no idea where it is yet. But to somebody like me who, followed your rules, for you to go, oh, now there are no rules, well, then I kind of just had the wind taken out of me and went, all right, there's nothing. If this is where we're at, where there's no danger, then I'm sort of tapping out. So all that said, I'm coming back in here with Absolute Power because it is an event book. It's clearly going to be the thing that is going on across DC for the foreseeable future. And to be honest, the book is being written by Mark Waid and drawn by Dan Mora. And those two are probably, respectively, like, top 3 writer and artist for me, period. Again, Mark Waid is an actual insane person whose brain was broken by Donald Trump and spends his days, crying into a diaper about politics. I know that. I agree with you guys. I still haven't forgiven him for the crap he did with your boy Zach, even though Zach has moved on. And, like, so I don't think, like, he's the greatest person, but the man can absolutely write comic books, and he has delivered. The one DC, okay, I just realized this, asterisk, there has been one DC series that I have been reading, and that is Superman Batman World's Finest, written by Mark Waid and in the early days drawn by Dan Mora. Actually, I think he might be back. But the point of that is that I read it because it tells a good story. Waid knows these characters. Like, there is, I can't get into it now because it's too long of a page. It's like a 7-8 page long sequence, but there is a sequence that Mark Waid wrote where Superman and Batman are trying to teach a young protege how to control his powers. He's basically like the Sentry and has the power of the sun within him. And they get, at one point, the Joker breaks in and tortures him. And so the kid, after being, like, abused, goes, all right, that's it, I'm putting you down, and threatens to kill the Joker. And Superman and Batman flip out, and they're like, that's not how we do things. That's not how we taught you. And after they get him to stand down, Superman basically, he, like, flies around the Fortress of Solitude, and he builds a Phantom Zone projector. And he goes, I'm sorry, like, I know I would teach you, like, but until you can get a handle on your powers, until we can figure out what's happening, I'm locking you up. I can't trust you. You can't be trusted. And as he's like readying the projector and the kid starts crying, Superman like shuts it down and he goes, no, I told you I would help you. I'm going to help you. We will help you. We will get through this. And I'm like, that's my Superman. That's what I'm talking about. Right. So the man knows what he's doing. But so that's sort of why I was sort of interested in this series, to at least check it out. But ladies and gentlemen, from issue, so far we've gotten one issue, and I know I fully admit that the story could go anywhere. You could completely change my mind. But what we got in this first issue is just, it is bland, boring, and tired, right? So Andrew brings up a point here in the chat. Can we stop pretending that Amanda Waller's goal, or can we stop pretending like, quote, protecting the world from meta humans is still Amanda Waller's actionable goal? And sort of, like, come on, Dan Mora is so good. This page makes me like hang this shit in the Louvre, right? Like, this page is so pretty to me that I lose like my dictionary, and I just start swearing. Like, it's so fucking pretty. This is holy shit. Like, that's all I can do. Like, Dan Mora, you are the man. Also, we got to see, I like this. I just like seeing Animal Man and his daughter. They're fun. They're cute. That's all. I just like seeing them a lot. But, here, let's see. So, long story short, yeah, here's Amanda Waller announcing her plans to do everything. And, yeah, it always comes back to that, Reeve. It really always does. But so, in this story, we have Amanda Waller going full, like, authoritarian and on her own orders deciding to depower the entire, like, super world because she's trying to, quote unquote, protect us from metahumans. Now, I'm right there with Andrew, where and I'm going to sort of spin this around, so sorry if I sort of tangent a little bit, but one of my big things with this particular series and with Amanda Waller's character right now is that the Amanda Waller that DC has, that they're using, is not who Amanda Waller is. The version that we've seen popularized since 2016 with the Suicide Squad, so the version that showed up there, the version that's in the comics now, the version that showed up in Kill the Justice League, these are all very, 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 very Flanderized versions of Amanda Waller. So if you guys, I don't know if anybody here has read it, but the old 1987 original Suicide Squad series by John Ostrander, if you haven't read it, go read it right the hell now. Some of the best comic books you will ever read. But in that original Suicide Squad, where they set up everything and they show Amanda being in control over everything, Amanda Waller is not portrayed as this inhuman monster who will do whatever she wants just to get her way, right? Originally, Amanda Waller is sort of more shown, sort of like how I was talking about Carol Danvers earlier. She was cynical in a world full, like, overabundantly flowing with hope. She was the one who said, sometimes there are things that we will need to do as a government. There are sometimes people who need to die. How can we do this? Well, we have our own superpowered agents. Instead of letting them rot there, we might as well put them to use. In those old days, Waller was very mission focused and she was still stern. She's still, take no shit Waller, but she wasn't inhuman, right? There's a panel that I shared a couple days ago with a couple of you guys in conversation where, and I can probably find it really easily considering I know exactly where I shared it. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Thank you, karaoke night. Thank you, everybody. So let's get over to this page. Let's see. Let's get my buttons activated. So this is from that old John Ostrander series, and so basically the setup to the situation is that the Suicide Squad was on a mission. It got botched, and instead of trying anything to help him, this guy Tolliver is saying, no, cut him, like, forget him. And see, this is what Waller is saying here, right? And this interaction sort of summarizes to me what Waller is about. So my people got trick bagged. The ambassador's threatening to turn them over to the Russians himself. So, our government has already disowned their actions. I assume there's no way they can be traced back to us. Those are my people you're tossing to the wolves, Tolliver. They're expendable. That's how the squad was set up. The way you set it up, Waller. And then, after like a glare between the two and a smug look from Tolliver, she decks him. And she fires back. They are considered expendable if necessary, Tolliver. They are not meant to be thrown away on garbage missions like this one. Who authorized this fool mission besides you? Right? Like, and then over here, you better hope I get all my people back in one piece. Waller was tough, and she was take no shit. And yes, sometimes she went a little too, she leaned a little heavy on the dark side trying to get her goals, but she still knew the value of human life, the value of what she was doing. And she, it was still all for ostensibly what she considered the greater good. Nowadays, she's just going hog wild on her own. We've seen her in recent years. I mean, not only just willy-nilly depower everybody, but recently she's taken, if you've read, more recent runs of the Suicide Squad, she's abducting heroes and putting chips in their brain to put them on the squad. She's reneging on all of her deals with the squad just to keep them in control. She's going more and more extreme with her inhuman measures. One of the big setups for Absolute Power is that there is a robot named Failsafe that Batman sort of created to be Batman dedicated to justice, no human emotion, justice only. And after they beat it, Amanda stole it, and that's who she has running all of her programs now. And that's how we get this set up to the right here, this awesome splash page by Dan of all of these. So this is called Task Force 7, but it's these Amazo versions of the League who are able to, absorb and take away powers. These are, and again, off of nothing. I need to sort of, there was no, so in at least in Civil War, in Marvel Comics Civil War, the catalyzing incident was a supervillain from his own selfishness blew up an entire school of children. Again, a really loose, wacky, it's a rough setup for Marvel Comics considering everything we know, but at least there was a catalyzing incident here. Here, Waller's only thing is there are super people. Do you remember what just happened with Lazarus Planet and Beast World? And it's so the world got threatened, it got saved by the Justice League, and now you want to take out the Justice League? It doesn't... At this point, she's just being an authoritarian to be an authoritarian. So to me, that makes her character way less compelling. I've been a Waller fan for a while because of the fact that while she's tough as nails, or while she's human, she's tough as nails. She's what you need sometimes, right? That's not what it is anymore. At this point, she's just an asshole. She's just running the world as Amanda Waller sees fit. So to me, it's just a really sloppy, stupid setup to her character. It's just with that level of setup of just, I'm going to do this because of I want to. Okay, you've got your event going, but it feels flimsy. It feels like you just wanted to introduce these robots, which is fine. And maybe that's how this event will shake out. But so far, it just leads to a really weak, you Flanderized one of your best characters, and now you're turning her from somebody whose position you can understand, even if it was dark and terrible, to just a straight out evil dictator. So it's a real shame what's happened to Amanda Waller, how they're treating her nowadays. And so as far as the first issue goes, in terms of plot, we don't get a lot. We get all of the superheroes getting depowered and Amanda Waller revealing that she is the one behind it. Like I said, the setup, it's really bad. Just because this setup is so boring, I was just really bored with this issue. I didn't have a lot of excitement. What I did get a lot of excitement out of was the visuals. Again, Dan Mora, sort of like Volume Dealer points it out, he's killing it. Volume Dealer loves these designs, and Mora is an amazing artist. All of these shots, I love this group shot of the league, of the Justice League Dark. He's so good at what he does. It's just a shame that him and Wade are using their talents in service of such a bad story. Just like this, I don't know what it is about this panel. So for those who don't know, Ollie Queen is working with Amanda to depower everybody. It's probably going to be a double cross, as always. I mean, it's Oliver Queen. He's the hero. But this shot of him saying, like, we've sealed away the time stream in the microverse, and looking at, like, the Atom's costume and the Chrononaut core, like, I don't know. And they're small. There was something about this panel where I'm just like, as an artist, it speaks to me. I'm just like, ooh, yeah, this is good. Hey, Teva. Yeah, no, I know Ollie's plot is in the Green Arrow book. They just haven't fully done the reveal of, like, yes, I'm a double agent. So that's all I was setting up. It's very clearly obvious that that's where we're going with this. But yeah, that's where we are right now. So yeah, like, I like all of the art. Dan Mora's absolutely killing it, right? But so far, this setup isn't that exciting. It's also just another one of those what if superheroes lost their power stories that we've seen billions of times before. And it just, I don't know. It's not really that exciting anymore. I feel like we see a lot out of DC too. And guess what? We're getting it out of DC. So obviously there is room here for this series to pick up, to improve, for the plot to actually come together. But as we're seeing right now, it is very boring, and it is very, like, basic. It is Amanda Waller got mad for no reason other than she's Amanda Waller and hates superheroes, depowered them all, and is throwing them into camps. It's a shame. I hope it gets better, but at the very least, we're going to get some amazing Mora artwork out of this, right? Like, so good. I think also the background mix of dark and light haze. Yeah, like, the man just knows what he's doing here, right? Like, compare this to the backgrounds we were seeing earlier, whether that just blue background on the LaRocca cover or the haze that the colorist did on Pacelli's Phil Coulson story. This shows composition. There's the darkness over here that guides your light over to where Ollie is standing, puts the emphasis on his character, but still gives you that feeling, that foreboding feeling of something is, like, rolling in and we have no idea what it's going to bring. So, slipped there. Let's see. Oh, shoot. That's too bad. Andrew is out of here. He's going to go have dinner. Have fun, buddy. Enjoy. Yeah, you guys are going to have, you guys are having so much fun out there. I'm jealous. I can't wait to talk to you when you get back. But yeah, so, officially, like, it's just 5 out of 10, maybe. All of that being carried by the art. Wade's writing is good. Like, he's a good writer. You can, like, how do I put this? The script from Wade is good. It is just unfortunately based on shitty concepts that he has to follow through on, right? He's not the one who said, let's just make Amanda Waller flip her switch one day, right? But he was the one who was unfortunately saddled with it. And he's doing he's doing a good job. It's fine, but it's the base premise sort of just kills it all together. Yeah, exactly. Teva asks, how do you feel about John being turned into a cyborg? Because personally, for me, I think it just proves my point that John is screwed. So yeah, that's the point I was going to get to next here. The epilogue to this issue, right after this shot of Wonder Woman, Superman, and Aquaman, is John Kent has been abducted by, we don't know who yet. Clearly maybe Waller, because the female Brainiac robot is back there. But he's clearly being turned into some sort of cyborg Superman, right? Like, they're gonna hit another. They already gave John Superman's red, blue, electric powers. Might as well give him the rest of what made Superman really popular in the 90s, right? They even gave Connor Kent, like Con-El is John's, like, sidekick. They literally they're trying to make John into 90s Superman. But I digress. So we don't know what the setup is specifically. Obviously, he's probably going to be used as a weapon, maybe being turned into some sort of hybrid between the task force and like actual metahumans. But to your point, Teva, where was that? You said, right, or where you said, yeah, I think it just proves my point that John is screwed. I don't know what you mean by screwed, but I agree with that sentiment in the sense that this to me kind of just shows they don't know what to do with John's character. They're just sort of throwing whatever at the wall. They don't know how to make him popular. They don't know what niche to throw him into. So at this point, he just sort of he fills the jack of all trades role. If they need something done, they'll just throw John into it, right? Because this aged up John has not landed with anybody. Obviously we have Tehillim in here, shout out to my boy. He, for example, is one of the big, he's a Super Sons fan. And all the Super Sons fan, when John got aged up, they were pissed. I was pissed. I was reading Super Sons at the time too, and I was loving that book. It was one of the few DC books out of Rebirth that I thought was really enjoyable. And then you just, oh man, shit, what was I going to say? I just completely lost my train of thought. That's too bad. So they didn't like him. And then all the people that they thought they would attract by pandering to John, like with John as a gay guy now, they're not there either. Here's this is for, all right. How do I explain this? There is a comic book website. Shout out to Midtown Comics. It is a comic book chain in New York City over here in America. And they have some of the best online presence out of any comic book store. They routinely do massive sales. Right now, there's a 4th of July 75% off sale going on back issues and stuff. Go check them out. They're great. But I was browsing through that sale, and one of the books that was on sale for $75 at near mint were all of the issues of John dating what's his name, all the variant covers of them together, all the Pride issues. Like, that was the stuff they were banking on. Those were the books, remember, that Tom Taylor's out here going, everybody's buying them, we're top of the charts. And I'm sitting here going, I can now buy this supposedly monumental issue for $1 at near mint, and the variant cover of it, like that, for those who don't know comic book collecting, that doesn't happen. Like, it just, the quality, the celebrity of the book, and the fact that it's a variant should at least boost its price up to minimum 10, right? But it's not there. So to me, this is about Jay, that's right, that's what his name is, Tava. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, so to me, this is just another instance of, we got to throw something at the wall. Holy crap. How do we make people like John? John Kent is essentially the DC Carol Danvers right now, where the fans are not that big of a fan of. Fans liked the previous incarnations of these characters, Young John, Miss Marvel. Then their respective publishers decided, we can use these characters as a vehicle for social messaging, whether it's LGBT support over on DC, or feminism over on Marvel side. And again, if you guys know me here, I'm completely cool with women, LGBT. I don't really care about that shit. That's not something I really concern myself with. Do what you want to do as long as you're not hurting anybody, right? That classic old adage. But so like they tried to make a push with them. Then they go, nobody really responds, so they start throwing them into every role possible to try and give them something that makes people go, ooh, I'm in for that. Whether that's making Miss Marvel Captain Marvel and making her the Avengers leader, or whether that's aging up John and giving him the blue electric powers. It's throwing spaghetti at the wall because they need to. It's the sunk cost fallacy. They've invested so much in John and Captain Marvel that now they've got to use them. Otherwise, man, we spent 90 bajillion whatever dollars on nothing. And then, Tava's right there, a huge son of Super Sons. I think routinely across the board, most people were fans of Super Sons. It was a great story, and yeah, they absolutely just ruined it all. You'll also be happy to know, speaking of that story, all those issues where John gets taken to the future by Jor-El and trained and sent back or whatever, those were all on sale too. Even the variants, nobody liked that change. Nobody is on board for older John Kent. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen here with John. We shall see. But that is the first issue of Absolute Power. I'm not really impressed. Dan Mora, I still wish, how can I absorb your powers? You are just a phenomenal artist, and I'm sad that it took you this long to be recognized by the industry. Go look at his old Power Rangers stuff for Boom. The man's been killing it forever. So that's absolute power. Check it out. I mean, it's early, so who knows where it's going to go. If you want a good story in this vein, read pretty much any other story involving Amanda Waller. Go read Squadron Supreme over at Marvel. Just anything that is not this particular series. Teva says, hey, here's an idea for DC. Stop pandering to an audience that doesn't exist and just give us back the real John Samuel Kent, Superboy, back to his 10-year-old self and give up on Teen John. And then, to Hillam, restore John Samuel Kent to the canon, not this fraud. Bendis' Superman book was freaking garbage from beginning to end. Oh, Teva, we here at The Good, the Mad, the Ugly routinely and regularly crap on that book and Bendis's overall run at DC, because it was an absolute disaster for every character, every property. Anything he touched during his time over there was just worse off after he was done. So we're not here at The Good, the Mad, the Ugly. We're not a fan of late Bendis. We like early Bendis back with Ultimate Spider-Man and New Avengers and stuff, but DC Bendis is really bad. But to your point about bringing back John, I am right there, and I think, this is a sentiment I'm going to express. So, like, for me, for example, what I'm seeing from, like, you and Tehillim, I see in myself with, like, Ben Reilly over at Marvel, right? Ben Reilly recently, if you don't know, he broke bad. They turned him into a villain for really, really stupid reasons. Go watch literally any other past episode of this show to hear me talk about it. But I'm at the point, like, I hate it so much. The character, it doesn't make any sense. It's not him. I'm at the point where I'm like, Marvel, I don't care if you just have Ben show up in the next issue and nobody says anything. Like, if he just shows back up and he's like, oh, I'm the Scarlet Spider, and nobody says, what was Chasm about? Are you all good? Like, if they just said that's it, even if it was that dumb, I would be like, thank you. You just retconned it. And I feel like that's what you guys are feeling for John, where it's like, you don't even want like a fancy narrative at this point. It's just literally like, have him just dropped off on the Titans Tower steps or something, or on the Kent Farm steps. Done. No explanation needed. We just have him back. Like, that's where I feel like that's where you guys are at. Rhaegar, Ben Reilly, that has been a can of worms since his inception. Hold on a second. Whoa, hold on. I am out of order. So first, Volume Dealer says Dan posted Power Rangers piece a couple weeks ago. I saw that. It's for the cover to the upcoming end of the Boom series, the Boom Power Ranger series. We've talked about it before. Hasbro is messing up that license, and that is one of the casualties of it. There will no longer be any Power Rangers comic books for now. They have not announced a reboot or anything. Just everything is ending. Everything is coming to an end. Solicits for the next coming months don't have any of these books ready, so again, I've said this before, those books are probably the only good thing Power Rangers fans are getting or have gotten in recent years. And unfortunately, just with Hasbro's mishandling, there they go. Let's see. Reeve says, I have to head out now, and I hope you have a good rest of the night. Yes, Reeve, take it easy. Do not worry, my friend. We are probably wrapping up here very soon as well. And that's where Rhaegar's Rhaegar's comment got me here, because Rhaegar's saying, Ben Reilly, that's been a can of worms since his inception. And the answer to that statement is yes, it has been. But I wanted to address it as the segue, right? Like, here we go. It's like, yes, he has been a disaster. It has been one of the worst things that has happened, not just to Marvel, but to Spider-Man, and to me personally, because I love Ben. I will take it as a personal insult, even though I know nobody over there at Marvel listens to me. But because we are here at the 2.5 hour mark for this show, and you guys have things to do, it is Friday night, and you probably don't want to hear me go on for another 3 hours about Ben Reilly. We will probably start bringing our show to an end. And yes, I also wanted to address that from Teva. Naomi also failed. That's what we mean. Like, Naomi was just a push. Bendis thought he was going to get another Miles Morales out there, and he just didn't. And they pushed her way too hard to the point where it was embarrassing. Again, the one big criticism I always bring up about Naomi is that she was made a Justice League member near immediately. A 10-year-old girl who just discovered she has the powers of of the Reality Stone, essentially, is automatically placed on the Justice League. It's the same issue I had with putting Miles Morales and Kamala Khan on the Avengers. Like, that's not where you put the Avengers, the JLA. That's supposed to be your premier, big guns. Like these are the dudes. Like and to put kids who like go like, oh yeah, we're gonna put kids on the roster even though we know we're gonna send them into like world-ending situations. It's just really weird to me. So yeah, Naomi was awful. All Bendis DC has been awful. You will not find a defender among us. Tava says, I'm also pissed off at the current Amazing Spider-Man book, which is also bad and garbage, and I'm happy we have the real Ultimate Spider-Man book with Hickman. Again, I don't know if you were here earlier, Tava, but we were talking about that. Go read Ultimate Spider-Man. I've got all these costume covers. They're best. You know, that's why I support it. But Tava, on that topic, you know, with Chasm and how garbage the current Amazing Spider-Man book is, I encourage you to keep coming back, because that book is like the main thing we talk about. I am a huge Spider fan. I am routinely disappointed by what is coming out. Everything from Zeb Wells just seems to be done to kick you in the nuts, and it's just hasn't been fun over there. So yeah, come with that, like, yeah, that's a good plug for everybody to, you know, come on, hang out next week. I'd love to have you. As always, how do I start this spiel now? Whew, I don't even know where to go. As always, guys, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. It's my honor. It's my pleasure. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this show, to hang out with you. So from the bottom of my heart, you're the best. And yeah, thank you for helping me get to 100 subs. I know that seems so minor compared to a lot of other channels around here, but that's all 100 off of the back of me just doing these live streams. So that means 100 of you guys out there for some reason want to hear what my dumb ass has to say. So I truly appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who showed up during the live stream, to Hillam, Volume Dealer, Tava, Zero, Reeve, Andrew, gosh, who else am I missing? I know there were more people. Oh, Rhaegar, of course. That's who I was looking for. Space Dave, Flex, like you guys, Corey, you guys are all the best. I love talking to you guys. I love hanging out with y'all. I'm sure I will talk to some of you on Discord, some of you on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, hit me up there at Kabuto Rider Mav. I'm always around, sort of just hanging out, reposting cute anime girls and cool comic book pages, so you can find me over there. As always, hit up boundingintocomics.com for every day for new news stories coming out from me, Jacob, Cider, Nerdigans, the entire team. Everybody's killing it over there. We're doing great. I invite you to come hang out with us. I'm loving having a good run of it so far. So yeah, boundingintocomics.com, at Kabuto Rider Mab on Twitter. If you want to see more of me live, as always, you can come back here, same Mav time, same Mav channel next week for another episode of The Good, The Mav, The Ugly, where the entire point of this live stream, I want to hang out with you guys, talk about some good things, talk about things we like, as opposed to all the bad stuff we have to put up with throughout the rest of the week. So if you want to kick off your weekends right, come hang out with me. I will be here. And then if you want to see me before then, every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, we host the 01 stream over at Bounding Into Comics on the Bounding Into Comics YouTube channel. Me, Cider, Josh, Jacob, Nerdigans, we get together. We talk about the big pop culture news stories of the week. That's where you'll get your Star Wars. That's where you get your MCU, your DCEU, all that fun stuff. So yeah, that's where you can find me. That's where all the stuff is going on. Let's see. Do we have any final business? Oh shit! Crap! Shinkai. How could I have forgotten Shinkai? No! I hate forgetting Shinkai. I knew it. I go back and watch the tapes. You could tell there was some. I was like, I know there's somebody on my head that I'm forgetting. And Corey, did I say Corey? I swear I thought I said Corey. If I didn't say Corey, that's on me. Again, big dum dum. But yeah. Shout out to all you guys. You're the best. I love hanging out with y'all. Go read some great comic books this weekend. Squadron Supreme is a wreck. Ultimate Spider-Man's a wreck. Go play some good video games. Go watch something fun. Go check out a good TV series, movie, anime. They are out there, even if it does not seem like it right now. You'll probably have to go back into years past, but come on. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, go watch that. There you go. That is our recommendation. Go start episode 1, season 1. Of Earth's Mightiest Hero. There you go, Corey. Corey says he's got Razor Fist book to read this weekend. That's what I'm talking about. See, we've all got good stuff that we can indulge in. Like I said, I'm probably going to just spend my weekend probably reading more Squadron Supreme comics, maybe diving back into Exiles because I forgot how much I loved that book. And yeah, before we officially get, I think that's all we formally have for tonight's show. As always, before I let you guys out of here, I have your last call for last minute news, which if you're new here or if you're watching the VOD, obviously it is the I just like to sign off each stream with a fun clip of something I've been watching, something relevant, something to just remind us of like, oh yeah, that was cool. Oh yeah, I like that. Maybe spark you to want to go check it back out. But this week, in honor of Absolute Power, in honor of what they've done to Amanda Waller, I figured we could take a little step back to one of her better depictions and see just what a real version, like the actual Amanda Waller, should be like. So check it out. I'll see you in a second.
No. You need to step back.
Not gonna happen. Long Shadow's with us.
Safeties.
Mine are bigger than yours.
Stand down. He's free to go with you for however long he's got.
Who are you people?
That's a national security matter. And if I were you, I wouldn't probe the situation too closely, rich boy.
Amanda Waller, that is the Wall, in control, not going full authoritarian and abducting Wonder Woman and Batman to use as weapons right there, but in control, just that's exactly what I was doing, Rhaegar. Chef's kiss. Go watch some Justice League Unlimited. It's fantastic. I've had a great time hanging out with all of you tonight. If you want to hit me up more, obviously feel free to hit me up on Twitter, on Discord. Side note, I am looking into setting up an official Discord for The Good, the Mad, the Ugly, because after last week I was streaming on Twitch, got a couple new viewers, and they were like, hey, where do we want to hang out? Where's Discord? So that will probably be up and running by next stream, hopefully. So there might be a hangout spot for us all to congregate in after these shows. But until then, everybody, have a great weekend. I will see you very soon. And yeah, take it easy.
As the creator of Mara Jade,
Wait! I am not the creator of Mara Jade, and I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zeb.
No way.
You brought
No
it on
way.
You brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so
Out.
sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him like burned and we'll
I don't
execute
even
him
know
and
who
burned.
that guy is.